Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the host and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until a nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears, breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Reverend, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
From Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, though, man. But I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
It's Thursday, July 18th, 2024, the fourth and final day of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, and it is going to be a very, very big day. This is the day in which former President Donald Trump is set to give his address to the convention and formally accept his party's nomination. I have, for moments, been caught up in the pageantry, pomp, and circumstance of this convention because it's very easy to do. Being here on Media Row and having all of these interviews with people I otherwise would not talk to, new faces in town because of this very interesting moment in American political history. I also had to have particular focus on my job as a radio broadcaster to make sure that I am staying true to what I do every single day, whether there's a convention here or not. So in all of that, I also decided that I wanted to take all of this in just for the experience of it, because this is a rare occurrence. Now, the Democratic National Convention was here in 2020, but as you all know, it was dramatically subdued because of COVID-19. So this was my first time really being active, engaged, and involved in a major party convention. So the first day, incredibly hectic. Security took better than an hour. I was discombobulated. There were exits downtown, heading downtown, that were closed that I thought were going to be open. I had to reroute myself a bunch of different times. And then, of course, the first security checkpoint was the most arduous of them all. So I was obviously a bit frazzled. Then I had to find my way to Panther Arena, find where we were broadcasting from, and then had to find some place where I could prepare and get ready for the show. Very, very distracting. A lot of people, a lot of motion, folks walking around all over the place. So it was a lot. So after my first broadcast day, I went home. I didn't stick around. I didn't go to the Baird Center. I didn't go to the Fiserv Forum. I didn't go to the Deer District. And this entire area is just full of activity. But that first day, that took a lot out of me. The second day, I decided I wanted to take in a little bit more. That is when I went on my tour of the Baird Center and I saw the different venues that they have there for the different state delegations. I took my first trip to the floor on the Fiserv Forum where the delegates sit and where they conduct convention business. So any of you that watch the convention in the evenings, maybe when you get home from work on different news networks, the floor of the Fiserv Forum, which is actually where the Bucks play basketball, that's their basketball court, is where a majority of the convention activities take place. So I took that tour on Tuesday. Got to see all of the things that you guys see when you're watching on television. So that was a very interesting experience. And the access that I have is, in fact, it's only myself and Steve Scafidi that have access to literally every single part of every building, of every room of the convention. So I was able to explore that on Tuesday. Yesterday, I actually attended real convention business primetime speeches last night at the Fiserv Forum. This is where I really want to begin the show because it's easy to get caught up in all of this stuff because there's a flurry of activity and just so many things happening and so much media and so much coverage and so much damn controversy. You know, who are the speakers going to be and what is Donald Trump going to say? Is he going to tone down the political rhetoric? You oftentimes can lose sight of what is really happening here. And for a moment, I did lose sight of what is actually happening here. This is a coronation of Donald Trump, who is seeking a second term in office. I'm going to do my best to convey to you my sentiments and my feelings yesterday being in the Fiserv Forum while actual convention business was going on. One of the most striking things, the videos that they show in between speakers, it's nothing but pure propaganda. It is riddled with half-truths, blatant lies, exaggerations about how perfect the world was under Donald Trump. But the other thing that was just like ominous, I can't even explain the feeling to you. It was almost like I feel like I was in the movie Get Out. Because trust me when I tell you, at the Fiserv Forum yesterday, during actual convention business, the primetime speeches, etc., very, very few African Americans, so I felt incredibly alone. 15,000+ people in this arena, barely anyone that looked like me. Walking around the media areas where we broadcast from, I wouldn't say it's diverse, but there's certainly more diversity here than in the actual convention, but nobody looks at me twice. I don't get any stares, I don't feel uncomfortable. The first real interaction with discomfort was when I was in the Fiserv Forum, just the way people looked at me. It's so hard to describe. And it's dozens and hundreds and thousands of people. And sometimes, you get a look back. You're walking towards somebody, you make eye contact, you keep going. I would look back at them. They were also looking back at me because I think they knew that I was not supposed to be there. However, I remain undeterred. This is all a part of my experience. Me going to the Fiserv Forum and just seeing what it's actually like, seeing all of these delegates and the faithful and those who are incredibly loyal to Donald Trump. But there was this eerie feeling in the building, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they would erupt in these chants. Some were illegible, some were Joe's gotta go. Anytime Joe Biden or anything the administration was mentioned, like the boos were louder than when the Bucks play a playoff game against a rival team. It felt menacing. It felt threatening. So where I'm seated, I'm way up in the nosebleed. So there is an area for radio broadcasters in the Fiserv Forum. So I'm up in like the 200 section. So if I wanted to bring like my computer and my equipment, I would be able to set it up in this particular area. So it's a designated area that we have way up in section like 215, way up in the top. And I isolated myself because there was actually a lot of seats that were available. So I kind of moved, and because I wanted to get like a clear view of what was going on down on the actual convention floor. And something very unusual happened. So I'm sitting in a row by myself. In fact, 2 rows above me, vacant. 3 or 4 rows below me were completely vacant. So I'm sitting in this row by myself because that's what I preferred, because I didn't feel like I was in a very friendly crowd in the Fiserv Forum. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Ron Johnson, Senator, U.S. Senator, Republican U.S. Senator, walks in. It's probably 8 o'clock, 8:30 maybe. And Ron Johnson walks in. I'm way in the top, you guys. If you've ever been to the Fiserv Forum, I'm in the nosebleed section, isolated away from everybody. Ron Johnson walks up to the 213 section and sits about 3 or 4 seats to my right. He's by himself. Now, he didn't recognize me. He didn't see me because he didn't even look my direction. His focus and attention was down on the actual convention floor. But I found it odd that a Trump-supporting, fake delegate co-signing Republican U.S. senator was up in the nosebleeds, essentially hiding at a convention nominating a man that is a member of his party, and to the best of my knowledge, I assume that Ron Johnson and Donald Trump were allies. So that was really weird. Like, I almost wanted to ask him what he was doing up there hiding. He was maybe up there for, 10, 15 minutes, and then as quickly as he arrived, he walked out. It's very, very weird. Something else that needs to be made note of. So there was more talk of Joe Biden's botched exit plan from Afghanistan. That consumed like an hour of the convention. And it was a very unusual thing, because you would think they'd be talking about, what are the next 4 years with Trump going to be like? It would be more hoopla and more fanfare and more engaging speakers. They had videos produced. They had speakers that were specific to this botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. Some of y'all may have remembered when 13 American service members were killed in our withdrawal from Afghanistan, which I think the Biden administration tried to downplay, but conservatives and conservative news and talk really, really blew it out of, I don't want to say they blew it out of proportion, but they just would not let it go, okay? We had to get out of that war. We had been in the war on terror for 20 years, and we were not winning. So there had to have been a withdrawal. How the Biden administration handled it, I'm not a foreign policy person. However, I digress. They did videos of each of the 13 service members. Each of those families spoke at length about the person that they lost, and they also took the time. So each of the family members bashing Joe Biden, how horrible Joe Biden was. Joe Biden is a monster. Joe Biden is terrible. Joe Biden has not said the names of our children. So they each got their own speaking section, but if you could hear the anger that was erupting in the crowd as each one of these Gold Star families spoke, and rightfully so, they deserve to have their moment to talk about their deceased loved ones that were distinguished service members fighting in that foreign conflict. But the anger that erupted was something that, it was almost like tangible. You could feel it. And then out of nowhere, they chanted, "Joe's gotta go, Joe's gotta go." And so on my Facebook page that corresponds to this radio show, Hughes Views, I posted a little bit of video of this chant that just erupted, that Joe Biden has to go. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something that is afoot. There's something that is brewing right now in this presidential campaign, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen in all of the years I've been working in politics. I've been working in politics formally and professionally for 22 years. I've seen a lot of elected officials come and go. I've seen a lot of political agendas come and go. I've seen good economies, bad economies. I've seen the rise of Barack Obama. I've seen so many things. This is different. I want to talk to you about something that we don't often discuss, but I want you to be aware of it on the heels of Donald Trump's speech tonight. And we don't know what he's going to say. We don't know what the tone is going to be. We don't know if he is going to, talk about political violence having no place in America. We don't know what he's going to say. But there are some things that I want you to be aware of so you can kind of be, present for some things that you may hear during the former president's speech. What I witnessed yesterday with this sea of red hats and red dresses and people wearing American flags, I've never seen anything like it. And I get it, it's the party faithful, it's a convention. But it felt different. It felt like they are ready to take down the current American system of government and replace it all with whatever Donald Trump wants. There's something that seemed fundamentally undemocratic and un-American about the experience. And I wish I could better put it to words, but for the first time at this entire convention, I felt unsafe. We've had a lot of conversation about the law enforcement that's here, the thousands of law enforcement that are in the perimeter, outside of the perimeter. We even heard about a situation yesterday we talked about at length of Columbus, Ohio law enforcement outside the perimeter, and they took the life of a man. But I felt unsafe not because of all of the law enforcement that I feared would harass me. I felt unsafe because American populism is on the rise. And here's what scares me to no end, and I'm rarely scared, but when I am, I tell y'all first. Joe Biden can't win this election, and I think that the Biden administration knows that. I think the Biden campaign knows that. The Democrats have until the end of this convention, literally the end of this week, to figure out what they are going to do. Joe Biden just got diagnosed with COVID, so he's going to be off the campaign trail. In fact, he had to cancel a speaking engagement that he had in Las Vegas.
Damn!
There has been no counter-narrative. There has been no pushback. There has been no response from the Democrats during this entire convention in which the Democrats are essentially rocked back on their heels. Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer privately told Joe Biden the polls are showing not only can he not win, he is going to take other Democrats down with him. The Democrats will not have a majority in the House, and they will lose the Senate if he remains on the ticket. Now, they have until the end of this convention, because if you have that kind of turmoil in your party, better to have it while the other party is having their convention, because the Democrats wouldn't really get a lot of attention anyway. But they have to figure this out, or American populism is going to wash over this nation. A lot of you guys may have heard that term, but you may not know what it is. I'm going to clear it up for you, and you should be terrified of it, because I looked into the eyes of these individuals on the convention floor yesterday, and this is something very different. It's ominous. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. This is day 4 of the Republican National Convention, broadcasting live from Panther Arena. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention, returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
The Republican National Convention has arrived. The RNC is here, and the award-winning 1017 The Truth will be broadcasting live from the convention, and we will have you covered with everything you need to know. Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth.
Truth Nation! Tap into Jamming with Juice. Yo, I've been jamming with Ben Jamming for a very long time. And now here's your chance to catch Jamming with Juice live on YouTube. You can also catch a drop of juice on 1017 The Truth app and 1017thetruth.com.
What distinguishes Old National Bank from other lenders in helping people buy their first home and furthering their small businesses?
One thing that really makes us stand out is our grants. We have 2 really big grants right now specifically for first-time home buyers buying in Milwaukee County. The first one is for $15,000. They have to be buying within Milwaukee County and reach certain income limits. And then the second one is for $20,000, and that is through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indiana. We're headquartered in Indiana, as you know, Denise. So that is a second grant, and that is really the highest, most robust grant program throughout the entire southeastern Wisconsin area. So it's up to $35,000 essentially that a person could be receiving for their first home. If you are in a position that you're looking to buy your first home throughout Milwaukee County, please give me a call. Please contact me. I'm more than happy to help everybody that I can.
And what's your number, Anna?
Sure.
How can they reach you?
414-978-0283.
Saving energy and money is easier than you think. Here are 2 simple things you can do to reduce your energy use and lower your energy bill. Use thermal curtains to reduce each room's energy loss by up to 25%, and make sure vents aren't blocked by furniture or rugs to improve airflow and comfort. Simple, smart savings. Get more energy-saving tips at WeEnergies.com.
Registration is now open for Greater Milwaukee Urban League's Microsoft Certification course. Youth classes take place on Mondays and Wednesdays, starting Monday, July 8th. Adult classes take place Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting on Tuesday, July 9th. Come and earn your Microsoft certificate in PowerPoint, Word, and Excel, all with an in-person instructor. For more information, visit tmul.org. That's tmul.org. Hurry, space is limited.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Welcome back to the program. Here we are, our fourth and final day of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Tonight, Donald Trump takes the stage to give his speech, his address, and his formal accepting of his party's nomination. In fact, this is the third time Donald Trump has accepted such a nomination from his party, 2016, 2020, and tonight makes three. Last night, the nation was introduced to J.D. Vance. I did not hear his speech because by the time he took the stage, which was reasonably late, I was already on my way home. I'll be honest with you, I did not particularly care to hear J.D. Vance's speech because I figured to be a mix of, platitudes and a way to appeal to the convention and appeal to the delegates. But here's the other thing about what I know about Donald Trump, his personality, his ego, his narcissism, is that whoever is speaking that is with him, right, that is a part of his team, and J.D. Vance is number two, you either are a sycophant, you love Trump, you praise Trump, he is perfect, we had the best economy, inflation was low, America was safer, America was stronger. It's either that, or you are subdued and you do not overshadow Donald Trump. J.D. Vance's speech, as I listened to some of the critiques from commentators, it was the latter. It was him pretending that he was of these, he's a working class person from the Appalachian Mountains of Eastern Kentucky. Dude is a Yale law school graduate who is intelligent and knows politics probably more than the man he will be serving with in the event that they assume the White House. But he tried to downplay his Ivy League roots. He also, J.D. Vance, went out of his way during his speech to make sure he mentioned the battleground states, all of which Donald Trump is currently leading. So I did not have any interest in listening to J.D. Vance's speech. But I am more concerned about what is afoot here in America. If you guys know what nuclear winter is, it is basically the destruction of all life once nuclear bombs fall. Everything changes. There's an entirely new world. This is what we are in for. So one of the things that is a hallmark, I suppose, of Republican talking points, and I heard it last night, and you guys are probably going to hear it too, is America needs to be energy independent. Have you guys heard that? That we need to stop making Iran rich and other Saudi Arabia. America needs to stop importing oil. From presidential elections past, you've probably heard the chant of drill, baby, drill. We want more American energy. We want more oil. Did you guys know that under the Biden administration, the United States of America produces and extracts more oil than even Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia is producing something like 12-ish million barrels of oil per day. The United States under Joe Biden is producing 19 million barrels of oil per day. But if you listen to people at the convention, Joe Biden wants to have us independent and having us using all this foreign oil and making gas prices very expensive because we got to import our oil. No, we are selling oil to other countries. But what's going to happen is, in the event that the Democrats, I'm not even going to say Joe Biden because he is not going to be the party's nominee. We're going to have to talk about that at some point today. You guys who are against Donald Trump and what he's going to do to this country that will vote for a Democrat, any Democrat, it will not be Joe Biden. So we're going to have to go further in depth about that conversation, but Joe Biden is not going to be the party's nominee. In fact, you'll probably know certainly in the next week, maybe 10 days, possibly even the next 72 hours where they're going to explain publicly what the transition is going to be. I don't know if he's going to resign from the presidency. I don't know how this is all going to work, but it's not going to be Joe Biden. So what will happen is the Trump administration would continue the Biden administration's policy of drilling and getting more oil and extracting more oil from the United States and the United States territories. But then when they take office, they're going to say, see, look how much oil the United States is producing under the Donald Trump administration. No, it's actually happening right now. But that's just one of the many lies that they are telling people. They have convention goers and anyone who's paying attention to what is happening right now thinking that we are not extracting oil and natural gas from underneath the United States and we are actually producing more. That blew me away. I had to read that article several times. I had to find other additional sources because I was like, how in the hell are we, the United States, producing more oil than Saudi Arabia? Well, we are. The problem with this era of American politics is populism, and I want to just share with you guys what that is, to be aware of it, to watch out for it, because it's illiberal. And I know that the word liberal probably has a negative connotation, but liberal in a sense in which the way I use it is you are free. No matter what your race is, no matter what your income is, they're not banning books. You can learn about African American history, and there's no censorship of information. We are having that going on right now, and this is just the start of it. Like, we have the start of populism even while Joe Biden is president. There's going to be more of it coming. Populism is an anti-pluralistic danger to democracy when it rejects democratic pluralism and says that only one leader and only one party are the true legitimate expressions of popular will. And this is from a paper written by a Stanford University professor. Okay, so this is not just like political talking points and platitudes. Like, this is what the actual definition is. Populism becomes a danger to democracy when it seeks to restrict the rights of political. Joe Biden is going to remove all the Democrats from his administration and replace them with all Trump. Trump will replace everybody in his administration with people that are loyal to him. Populism becomes a danger to democracy when it restricts the following things: political dissent, racial, ethnic, and other minorities, or simply seeks in general to erode freedom of thought. Banning books, banning African American history, banning books by Toni Morrison, banning books about LGBTQ. They're literally trying to restrict thought. Restricting thought, information, and expression, or the ability of people in society and the media to criticize the elected populist leader. We know that Donald Trump doesn't respond well to criticism, right? Even the Republican never-Trumpers have all come back around to support him, which is frightening. That is how democracy ends. We in this country have this beautiful ability to disagree, but still move forward with our day, still move forward with our normal, regular business. We live in a political climate where if you don't agree 100%, you are disloyal and you will be banished. We have stifled dissent in this country, and that is terribly dangerous, especially voices like ours. Minorities have a lot of things to dissent about. Our incomes are lower, our levels of education are lower, funding for our schools are poorer. We have issues with certain public services like police, etc., etc. We have to be the voice of reason in this country because we are a group that's disproportionately harmed. But in a populist movement, you dissenters, you complainers, you people trying to be honest about what America is and how deficient she can be at times, you will be stifled permanently. Freedom of thought, information, and expression all stifled, or the ability of people in a society and the media to criticize an elected popular leader. Populism is at risk, or is a risk, of mutating into an illiberal threat to democracy because it targets certain subgroups, and they only have one subgroup titled immigrants. Ladies and gentlemen, they made it abundantly clear that they want to deport 10 million, 11 million, 12 million people. They will deputize local law enforcement. They will deputize state troopers to find people that they believe are not in this country legally and legitimately and deport them. Now, when you're talking about a mass deportation of that number, and this is all part of what populism is, you get rid of the others. You have to other people. Once you're determined as an other, you have to go. You can't be here anymore. Do you realistically think that they're going to take the time and have due process for individuals who are rounded up by deputized local law enforcement and having them deported? Do you think that everyone's going to get a hearing? Do you think that everyone's going to have a court case? No. They may even look at people's last names and decide that they need to leave. That was a huge theme last night. Immigrants, the border crisis. They're coming over here. They're making housing more expensive. It was frightening how they talked about people that, a lot of which are actually Americans, a lot of which actually help the American economy. A lot of people, those folks are doing jobs in America and simply don't want to do. They want to round them up. But this part of populism is one of the most frightening because it targets one group, immigrants. While the members of this targeted group, immigrants, are typically not yet citizens, some of them are. And if one studies the rhetoric of European populist nativists, then it is abundantly clear what that can turn into, and I don't need to remind you of that. So I'm going to take a break. When I come back, going to talk to James, so I want you guys to be aware of populist themes that may come up in Donald Trump's speech. I also am curious about the tone and tenor, considering this man just survived an assassination attempt. Personally, I believe he's going to be on a warpath, and he is hell-bent for revenge. He will attack Democrats, he will attack institutions, and he will reform the entire federal government in ways you could not imagine. But then there's one other thing that has been left out of every conversation that we have had about this current Republican Party that supports Donald Trump. There's something very, very frightening, and I don't know why it hasn't been mentioned, but I'm going to mention it today, but you got to stay tuned to hear what it is. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM at the last day of the Republican National Convention. We'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention, returns next on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Come escape to Lake Lawn Resort. Enjoy stunning lakeside views, on-site golf, award-winning spa, and numerous dining options, including 1878 on the lake. Dive into the pools, explore water sports, or relax by the lakeside fire pits. Experience Lake Lawn Resort's newly renovated guest rooms, part of a multi-million-dollar upgrade for ultimate comfort and luxury. Whether it's a romantic getaway, family vacation, or corporate retreat, Lake Lawn Resort has it all. Book your stay at Lake Lawn Resort today and discover the perfect blend of adventure and relaxation.
Connie's Compassionate Care is a Wisconsin Medicaid Badger Care Plus benefit program designed to help pregnant women retain the support and services needed to have a healthy baby, from medical appointments, transportation, and health education support. So, if you or anyone you know can benefit from our agency, call 414-550-7521 to speak with Lasagna. Connie's Compassionate Care has got you covered.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 101.7 The Truth. Here is Dr. Ken Harris with his truth.
We're at a turning point in Milwaukee's political history as we go towards the end of this year and into 2025. The choices we make now will have a lasting impact on our city in the future. The impending financial difficulties necessitate a cooperative strategy that unites every aspect of our society to create long-term fixes. There has never been any question about the tenacity and the spirit of Milwaukeeans, and it is this strength that we need to utilize more than ever. Our future depends on creative problem solving, utilizing cross-border alliances, and being dedicated to making sure that all Milwaukeeans' voices, especially those of the historically marginalized, are acknowledged and heard during the policymaking process. Prioritizing equitable development will ensure that long-standing imbalances are addressed and economic growth will benefit all Milwaukee citizens. You know, it's essential to make investments in Milwaukee's public services, infrastructure, educational systems in order to both prevent the budget crisis and create a more robust and energetic city. Now, as we traverse these obstacles, let us never forget that our community is our most valuable resource. And by working together, we can overcome any challenge and create a future that embodies Milwaukee's greatest qualities, which are resilience, being inclusive, and being a successful city.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 101.7 The Truth. Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris, weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Alex Tellez. Over in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers have the next 2 days off as their first game post-All-Star break is scheduled for Saturday in Minnesota versus the Twins. First pitch is scheduled for 6:10. The Brewers sit at first place in the NL Central with a 4.5 game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. And finally, over in basketball, the Milwaukee Bucks Summer League team gets the day off this Thursday as they prepare for their game on Friday versus the Phoenix Suns at 3 o'clock. The Bucks Summer League team is still searching for their first win of the Summer League after losing their first 3 games. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Welcome back to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. This is day 4, the final day of the Republican National Convention, broadcasting live from Panther Arena here on Media Row. Let's talk to James. James, you're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
What's going on, Sherwin, again?
Man, I'm just trying to give an ominous warning to my people that something is coming in American politics that will look a lot like nuclear winter if we don't figure out how we're going to move forward.
Well, hey, I did say that the liar, the sexual assaulter, and the pedophile sympathizer was going to be president again. I know I said that a while ago.
Damn!
But the problem is that, hey, I saw this a long time back. And because, number one, even though I'm a Democrat, I'm a tried blue Democrat, but they're wimps. And I don't know if it's just because they're just wimps. If you got the other side beating you up, and remember I said before, you're fighting harder than Joe Biden did in his own debate. You're in front of the man, and he cannot fight him. He can't fight back. He looks like he can't fight back. Donald Trump literally didn't even have to do nothing. He just had to say what he had to say. Because if he'd have done more, it would look like he was beating up on a corpse.
James, here's the difference. Joe Biden is a statesman that actually wants to put policies in place that help people like you and me. Donald Trump is a strongman. When you are a statesman, you cannot go toe-to-toe with a strongman. A strongman is going to appear strong. They're going to lie. They're going to use bravado. They're going to be disrespectful because they can get away with that. Donald Trump does not have a political record that he can stand on. Joe Biden does. And so the political record, the policy is always going to look weak. When you're a party that speaks on behalf and wants to help minorities, you put black women as your vice president on the court, you're always going to look weak. So Joe Biden is not any kind of a match for Donald Trump when it comes to optics. He just isn't. We got to also lower the standard.
Hold up. That's not true. That's not true at all. Guess what? He can do exactly what you just said. He can stand firm, be totally... I just called him everything he's been convicted of and done. He wasn't a liar just in the debate. He literally was claiming Barack Obama's accomplishment. I mean, there's a pattern history that he can go after. The man said, inject yourself with me. I just said at the very same Barack debate, Obama. Hey, look, I would say at the very same debate, look here, hey, if your people did inject themselves with bleach, I'd have been like, hey, my parents told me a long time ago, never drink anything underneath the sink. He can fight and still be a statesman. But
if you got to understand something, they're pushing back on Donald Trump talking about the bleach. It does not work. It does not land because Trump gets away with that kind of stuff, and there's no consequence for it. So pushing back on it, saying, "Oh, this guy told you to inject bleach or drink bleach," that doesn't change any mind. It doesn't hit hard. That's not a punch back. The other thing I'm going to say this, and I got to go because I got another call that's on the line. Is Barack Obama was not a strong man. Barack Obama didn't yell, didn't argue because he didn't have to because he had actual policy and accomplishment on his side. And if you have history and science and fact on your side, you don't have to yell, scream, and be belligerent. But James, I appreciate your call. Thank you, James. Thank you, James. All right. So I don't know if folks are going to understand that when you have actual real policy on your side and actual levels of accomplishment, you ain't got to yell, you ain't got to scream. That means that's the piggy bank that's full, right? The piggy bank that's full, when you shake it, doesn't make a lot of noise. It's the policy piggy bank that's empty. When you rattle it, it makes a ton of noise. Right now on the line, Jasmine Harris, Black Media Director for the Joe Biden campaign. Jasmine, thank you for joining us. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I hope you're being safe down there. I hope you got some security with you, some cousins, some uncles, some somebody's there making sure you're good.
You know what, Jasmine? I wish I did because of these security protocols. Can't none of my family members get in. But I will say this. The only time I felt unsafe was when I was at the convention itself yesterday in a sea of red hats. I felt an ominous kind of terror. I saw looks in eyes I had never seen before. So there was something about that and something about this moment and the confidence that they feel. Jasmine, I need you to help bring this thing back because they're feeling really bold, and we know we got some shakeups going on with the Joe Biden campaign. So, Jasmine, give us some information that can help boost some spirits here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think the thing I always say about black voters is that we're show me people, right? We don't give anything easy. You have to earn our vote, and that's exactly what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done. They ran on specific promises to our community 4 years ago, and they've made good on those promises. That's why we have millions of new jobs created. You have the housing announcement that the president announced a couple of days ago, capping rent, holding landlords accountable. He understands. Joe Biden wakes up every morning thinking about how he can make life better and easier for the American people. And he's put Black America, at the forefront. You have Black-owned small businesses starting up at the fastest rate in generations because of, government investment and supporting these businesses. You have the Black wealth gap closed by 60% under his administration, cutting Black child poverty in half during the pandemic, making sure that our folks, the most marginalized, have everything we need so that we have a fair shot at this American dream that we've heard about for so many generations. We now have a president and a vice president that are really working to make that a reality for our community. And so because of that, Black voters, we've shown up. Despite all of the nonsense that has taken place over the last 3 weeks, we understand we have the most at stake this election. When you talk about the feeling that you felt seeing those red hats towards you, that's how every Black voter should feel, understanding that there's a chance that Donald Trump could be president again in November. That's how every Black American should feel, because we will get it the worst. You have a racist who is running for president, who has made it very clear that he doesn't even see us as equal to our white counterparts. So how could he possibly put forth policy that is going to be to our benefit? And then he has chosen an even more extreme individual as his vice president. There was so much talk about who his VP pick was going to be. Donald Trump continuously, time and time again, continuously shows Black America who he is. He has chosen the most extreme of the extremes to sit next to him as his VP. And we have to remember why he even has to choose a new VP, because he put his old VP's life at risk by inciting the riot at the Capitol. And so everything that has taken place, there's so much rhetoric going around, but like you have been telling your listeners, it's about the policy. It's about the record. Who has a record to run on as it relates to our community? And there's only one candidate, and that's Joe Biden.
We're speaking with Jasmine Harris. She's the Black media director for Biden for president. Jasmine, we cannot ignore the polls. Joe Biden is trailing in all 7 battleground states. Fundraising currently is not what it was, and there's some talk from Democratic insiders and even folks like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Hakeem Jeffries telling the president he cannot win. What do we make of that?
I think that there's a lot of reporting going around, some of it that is just, very inaccurate about the state of things. But one thing that I can say is that being a senior official on this campaign, what keeps me going is that I'm working for a fighter. The Black community, we're a bunch of fighters. We understand, the battle that it takes to go through adversity, get back up, keep fighting, and come out on top. And that's what you have in Joe Biden. And so despite everything that is going on, he is fighting for us. He will continue fighting to make lives easier for the American people. And so, Black voters, the CBC, leaders of our community, we have been loud and clear. You saw him at the NAACP this week giving an amazing speech. You saw him engaging with Black voters on the ground. You saw him joined by CBC leaders, Chair Horsford in Las Vegas, making sure he's out in the community. And so folks are behind him. And our grassroots, the everyday Americans like you and I, are continuing to support us and are continuing to be behind us. And we're not going to stop, because we know that we have too much to lose. Black America has too much to lose for us to not get behind the candidate that has put us at the forefront of his administration in such a strong way.
Jasmine Harris, Black Media Director, Biden for President. Jasmine, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again many, many more times between now and November 5.
Yes, thank you.
You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, broadcasting live from the final day of the Republican National Convention. We are here at Panther Arena. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention, returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Truth Nation, Gruber Law Offices, and The Truth have raised the stakes for this year. The One Call, That's All Gruber Cash giveaway is now a $5K giveaway. Yes, you heard it right. $5,000 giveaway. Every weekday on 1017 The Truth, you will have the chance to be entered to win the $5K giveaway. Listen to The Truth for the One Call, That's All cue to call for your chance to win $5,000. Gruber Law Offices, One Call, That's All. Visit 1017thetruth.com for official contest rules.
This is Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers on 1017 The Truth.
There are individuals in our community who certainly need health services, a variety of health services. What if they do not have health insurance? How can you serve that population?
Our community health center allows patients to come to our clinic regardless of their ability to pay, and that's part of our federal funding. You can come to our clinic and be seen based on what we call a poverty level. So anyone 200% or below a poverty level can be seen in our clinic for anywhere from $20 to $40 for that visit. So in other words, if your visit is a $400 visit and you fall on our sliding scale where you pay $20 for your visit, you would not be responsible for the $400. You'd only be responsible for $20 for that visit. Also, our pharmacy prescriptions are very, very affordable as well. Where you would normally pay, let's say for an inhaler, $240 a month for an inhaler, at our facility that would cost you about $4 or $5.
It's very good to know you guys have a sliding scale that makes it very, very affordable.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Truth Nation, join the Center for Leadership of African Women's Wellness from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday, July 27th for their prestigious Wine, Women, and Wings Red Carpet Affair and fundraiser. Enjoy food, drinks, music, fellowship, and fun at this summer event. So join them Saturday, July 27th, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at St. Francis Parish, 1937 North Bell Phillips Avenue. Tickets can be purchased on their website at claww.org/events.
A Brewers Group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. You can count on the Brewers to host an event your crew won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
At Gruber Law Offices, we've helped tens of thousands of families after a serious accident. Our priority has always been our clients. We're here for you whenever you may need us. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Come on. Yeah, this the one right here.
Back. I've got a topic that I want to dive deep into. You know, I was thinking, I'm going to take all these different guests and talk to them. I don't want to talk to them no more. I'll be honest with y'all. And if y'all want to hear from some of these convention goers and some of the Republican delegates, you may have to listen to another show because I shouldn't be entertaining that anymore because this is a moment of crisis for the Democrats. Other than hearing from Jasmine a little while ago, the Black Media Director for the Biden campaign, there is not much else being said about the accomplishments of this administration. But here's what I'm starting to think. I don't think it matters. Because we go over the same details of what has actually been accomplished, and even when we go over them ad nauseum, somebody somewhere, a lot of times it's the black would-be Democratic voter. Well, I don't feel nothing changing. Everything feels the same for me. No, everything is just like it was. It don't matter who's president. My life ain't going to change much. Regardless of what the accomplishments are, regardless of some of the history-making endeavors of where African Americans and African American women have been placed in this administration, on the courts, on the U.S. Supreme Court, I don't think it matters. It all comes down to style, bravado. Americans want to be led, I'm coming to find out. They do, and they're crying out for it. There are no real leaders. We used to trust our political leaders. We would defer to their decisions. Now, we hate them. They're crooked. They're corrupt. Donald Trump is taking full advantage of that. What do you think? He's the wrong one to be leading this nation. But that's what I'm starting to understand, especially when, I know I shouldn't be putting a lot of stock into what Amber Rose said. When was that, night one of the convention? But she said she feels safe. Trump makes her and her children feel safe. Americans do, they feel vulnerable. Economically vulnerable, sometimes culturally vulnerable, because you see all these other people coming over here. When African Americans adopt nativism, you know that we are in trouble. And we're also politically vulnerable. There's never been a point in time where we have not been vulnerable to decisions made by other people. And so what do? Right? All we do is we get mad, yell, and scream and argue amongst one another and talk about how some of our black elected officials ain't black enough. Ladies and gentlemen, newsflash, they're in the exact same system you are. We can't move forward thinking that black elected officials have more power and authority than white supremacy. White supremacy is oxygen in America. Everybody breathes it. So don't think, we have these African Americans, the sheriff and the police chief and the mayor and the county executive. They are living in this same system as us, and they are trying to do their level best to improve conditions. So I personally think we need to stop attacking them, because they are in this fight with us. We may disagree with them. We may not like how they present information. We may not like their style, their tone of voice, but they are fighting for the exact same things that we are fighting for. And we're not at a point where we can disavow ourselves from who our true allies are. I'm terrified about what's about to happen to this country. Wait until I get into my hour 2 topic. This was stuff that I never even considered, stuff I never even thought about. There's so many sinister and evil things that are flying under the radar of the Trump administration. Past and the future one will be worse. Trump just admitted very recently, said, I'm smarter now. That's a threat. He knows what he can get away with. He knows he can keep classified documents. He knows he can be charged with 34 felonies and go up in the polls. He knows that he can be accused, convicted of raping a woman and owe her something like $100 million, and it does not impact his political progress one bit. There was some years ago where even the mention of a man sexually assaulting a woman was the end of his life, the end of his career. He was banished from American society. You have a man that is leading in the 7 battleground states in every single poll. Donald Trump has made the state of New York competitive. You know you're in trouble when Joe Biden wins the state of New York in 2020 by 23 points, and now Biden is up like 9 points in New York. We are literally creating Babylon, and I'm not even a biblical person, but we are creating a new theme, a new nation in America, one in which it is not going to be favorable to us. And the person and the party that actually is creating policies that seeks to address some of our long-standing issues is considered weak. We're listening to live RNC convention coverage on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7. I'm at the Panther Arena. This is the 4th and final day. This is the day in which Donald Trump formally accepts his party's nomination. I will be on the floor, or I'm going to get real close to the floor as I can when Trump delivers his remark, because I want to look him in his face when he screws us all over. I'll be right back.
Here at the new 101.7 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 101.7 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices. Milwaukee Black Talk.
1017 The Truth and Associated Bank have teamed up for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, we'll be giving away $6,000 worth of free commercial advertising for 3 months to 5 Black businesses. To sign up for your business's chance to win $6,000 of commercial campaign marketing on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure on the truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC.
Carrie, where's Tori Lowe and Dr. Ken at? I'm trying to knock these commercials out.
How am I supposed to know, Sherwin?
Well, I'm about to do their parts because my impressions are on point anyway. This is Dr. Ken Harris from Truth in the Afternoon, and I want you to download the Truth app in the Google Play Store and Apple Store so you can never miss my show or any of the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Really, Kyle?
Sherwin, you are crazy.
Sherwin, your impression of me is horrible. Move. Give me my mic. I guess I'll just repeat what Sherwin said. Go to the Google Play Store or Apple Store to download the 1017 The Truth app today so you can take the home of Milwaukee Black Talk with you wherever you are.
Can't listen live? Download the new 1017 The Truth app on your smartphone today to catch up on all your favorite shows. Search 1017 The Truth on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store so you don't miss out on any of the action.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet. Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, broadcasting on day 4 and last day of the Republican National Convention. I want my city back, y'all. I want it back. We got caught up in the circumstance and all of the pageantry of this convention. I ain't gonna say nothing about the interview that was taking place when I walked up to our broadcast station. You know, DT and Tellez, two great people, two very good friends of mine, were here with Eric Trump, just glowing and gloating like this man is complicit in American fascism. And I get it, right? It's a big deal for The Truth to have these kind of people on our radio station. It elevates our platform, but and they were looking at me like, oh, Sherwin, do you want to see if you can get a few words with Eric Trump? I turned my back. I can't. I'm realizing what we are doing in broadcasting information about this particular political party. We are softening how evil some of these policies actually are, and they're going to be evil to us more than anybody else. The Trump administration on January 16th, 2021. So Joe Biden was inaugurated January 20th. Okay? This is January 16th. So 4 days before Joe Biden was inaugurated, the Trump administration had an unprecedented event. Their 13th death row execution. Now, that may not sound like that big of a deal. I want you to know that in 1 year, the last year of the Trump administration, they executed 13 people. Okay? Federal executions are exceptionally rare. States are the ones that carry out execution. And even that, it's like 5 states that do pretty much all of the nation's execution. And they might have one every few years. Okay? If you combine all of the United States, all 50 states, and you add up all the executions in all 50 states, that was 10. Donald Trump ordered 13 executions in his last year of his presidency, with 3 of those, the last ones, we call it a lame duck era. So when you are a president, you lose an election. So from November to January, you're a lame duck. You're just basically waiting to leave office. You're transitioning out. You don't really create any policy. You don't do any executive orders out of respect for the administration that's coming in. That's why you're a lame duck. You don't do anything. They ordered the execution of 3 African-American men in that lame duck session. The last time that happened was like in the 1880s, when I think it was like President Grover Cleveland executed a Native American. Damn! Donald Trump sent a message. There's so much more about these death penalty acts. So a guy named Alan Dershowitz, Donald Trump's friend and former lawyer, Alan Dershowitz said about one of these African-American men that Donald Trump was going to put to death literally right before Joe Biden was taking office. And they also knew that Joe Biden was going to put a moratorium on the death penalty because it's black men that are on death row, a lot of whom are innocent, okay? Donald Trump's friend, Alan Dershowitz, and Trump's former lawyer called Trump directly and said, hey, you cannot execute one of these men. You need to put a stay on the execution. You know what Trump told his friend, Alan Dershowitz? Because Trump usually listens to his friends, right? He said, it's too late, Alan. The family of the person, the murderer, like their family is already on their way to see the execution, so I can't call it off now. In his last weeks and months of his presidency, he made sure to execute 3 black men. There's a story, the Rolling Stone magazine calls it Trump's killing spree. So there was an African-American music producer who I'd never heard of. I guess he produced like Nicki Minaj and produced some ludicrous songs, but he's one of those African-Americans that was pro-Trump during the 2016 campaign. So this African-American music producer was one of the first African-Americans to endorse Trump. That guy, that African-American music producer, called Trump and said the same thing. Hey, Trump, I was one of the first African-Americans to endorse you. Can you stay the execution of one of these African-American men? And Donald Trump told him the same thing. I absolutely cannot. What? Donald Trump literally selected the people that he wanted executed because he didn't want to go out thinking that anyone thinking that he was soft on crime. So what did he do? Executed us. Even against the wishes of one of his first black endorsers and against the wishes of someone that Trump used to be a client of, and they are still friends. Alan Dershowitz even said, Trump, don't execute this one particular guy. He probably didn't do it. Trump said it's too late. You haven't heard about that, have you? Nobody's talked about that, have you? All these African-American folks, even some that are very, very close to this radio station, they don't mention that. Trump is sending a message. See, there's what they say, right? There's the rhetoric. There's we're going to make America great again. We're going to make America strong again. We're going to lower inflation. We're going to do all these things to get you caught up in the pomp and circumstance. And what do when it comes to actually putting things rubber to the road? Kill black men. When I found out that in Trump's last year of his presidency, he executed 13 people in all 50 states, there was only 10 executions. And that was that was his first term. Can you imagine what he'll do if he gets reelected? Let's grab some telephone calls. Our phone number here is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Let's talk to Miss Shack. Linda, you're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, Professor. Good morning, Good Karma Brand. And good morning to all the good black and white people of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I called in today to first say, I'm free. I'm free. I'm unblocked. I can call in now. Sherwin, I definitely...
When were you blocked?
Sherwin, huh?
When were you said you were free and you're unblocked? When were you blocked?
I called in last week. I called Tori's show last week, and I was upset when I heard of Mr. Mitchell being murdered in front of Hyatt. So I used the sugar honey iced tea in its original form, and so he told me
cussed on the air.
Yeah, but I thought DJ would have caught it. I thought he would have caught it because it was like the last word. So I thought he would have clipped it off, but he didn't. So anyway,
Linda, you
I'm
can't
here,
cuss.
And
you got to treat the radio like you're speaking at church.
I know. Well, see, this is the thing. I don't understand how sugar honey iced tea is not permissible, but ASS is. So I don't know. I just say I'll just use more creative adjectives. I just use more colorful.
Please proceed with your comment, because I got other callers now.
Yeah, I know. So I wanted to say, first of all, I thank you for breaking this down, because I don't hear it on any other host show. Specifically, Tory, I was upset because we need this balance. Yes, you can give them an open mic, and as you do, Sherwin, but you break it down. You break it down to us to see with our minds how these people think and how they speak, and the codes in which they speak and frame what they say, and it's all embedded in racism. So no matter how colorful and gray their words may seem, they still coming from a evil place, and that's racism, and they really have a place to put us, but they're not saying. And this is what I'm saying, like, I wish the host would make them express specifically what are they planning to do. Matter of fact, put it in writing what they plan on doing for black people, because Project 2025 says what they plan on doing, and you indicated yourself, their intentions. So I'm scared with you. I feel that with you. I'm overeating. I'm emotional eating, and it's drawing up my sugar, and I gotta kind of balance it out. But yes, it's stressing me out, this thing, because I don't understand why people don't see through their book BS. Why people don't see through the BS, but you seem to be breaking it down to where they can see it there. You're showing them what we don't know about. First of all, you're educating us about things we don't know, and then you're filling in the missing information that they're overlooking, or they're painting over. They're giving us the dream, the okey-doke dream. Oh, we're going to put all the black people in their rightful place. What does that mean? And the other thing I wanted to say too, oh God, I forgot it. I'll call back tomorrow. But thank you for what you're doing and educating us. Okay, bye-bye.
Appreciate your call. All right, then. Let's talk to Miss Rose if she's still on the line. Miss Rose, thank you for holding. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Welcome back, Josh. I'm not doing as fine as I wanted to, but I want a message to the people in our community and the community of the United States that they're the cause of any problem. The only person who could beat Trump is destroyed by individuals who have their own personal needs and wants more important than that of our country's needs. This premise of stress weakened his Biden's system, and COVID-19 is nothing but a virus. We keep talking about how people pull down like crabs in a barrel, but we stop and think. The reason why crabs look like they're pulling people down is because they don't strategize. They just keep trying to get out, and what happens is the heavy ones get on top, and they pull everybody down accidentally. Now, if they had the mentality to strategize, they put the big crabs on the bottom and let the lighter crabs go up, and they all get out. That's the mentality of what's missing in this whole society. And I find that it's incredible that we fall so easily. But then when you stop and think, they need to have what they want, what they think they're going to get by having Trump become president, they're going to be thoroughly disappointed. Sure, some probably will get it in the beginning, but toward the end, it won't be. What is really needed is a jingle or slogan that would bring people to back people. When you start backing people, everything that is going to fall in place. And I said what we need is a reason to really say, let's get together and support the person, give a positive. Because when you give negative, what's happening is going to happen. I just give you an idea of a jingle I was thinking of. Those who want
be quick, Ms. Rose, because I have 4 other people on hold.
Okay. Those who want 2025 think will not keep them hoping alive. Number 47, if you follow so-called Christians and others, will never get to heaven. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Strategizing, get some jingles, get some things out there that deal with the realness of the people who are looking out for themselves instead of for the country. And call and support, whether you like it or not. If you want to win in this country, support. to get.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. We're going to leave it there. All right. Appreciate your call. I got to get to these other callers. Like, I'm so sick of people saying, oh, we got to come together. Oh, we got to strategize. You know what that's like? That's like having a football team, having a basketball team, and saying, hey, team, just go win. Get on there, that floor, on that field, and just win. What is the strategy? And where is it? And who's going to create it? And depending upon who creates it, half of the people are going to hate it just because it was created by a certain person. I love how we just oversimplify things like it's black people's fault that we haven't come together, that we haven't strategized. We can't. We literally can't. We're too different. We're too individual. We're pulled in too many directions. People have too many responsibilities. They got to go to work. They got to take care of the kids. They got to deal with family stuff. It's not that simple. You can't just come together. Come together over what? Over what? Over what? Education? We can't agree on that. Over culture? Can't agree on that. On location? Can't agree on that. Urban versus rural? Educated versus not educated? What do we come together on? Blue collar versus white collar? Where are we coming together? Coming together on what? That's the thing, and we stay stuck, and then we end up blaming ourselves. And while we do that, they're running roughshod over us. But I'm getting a little sick of that platitude because I hear it all the time. Oh, we got to come together. If we just work together, we support one another. Wow, where? In what? We can't agree on police. We can't agree on disciplining kids. We just have zero agreement. So if we're going to come together, okay, let's pick one thing and let's all agree. I don't think there's a single thing that all of us can agree on. I'm honest with you. I can sit here and say the sky is blue and someone will say it isn't. All right, let's talk to June. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just all that stuff that you just said. I totally agree with it. But the thing that just really bothers me, I'm really overwhelmed just by all of this. CNN, MSNBC, even the radio station, even like the other lady was saying prior to that, the Tory Rose show. See, I've been following you for a while, and I know that you know what you're saying. So what I'm going to say to you is, thank you for a break. It's kind of refreshing to hear you, break the thing down, because I'm watching so much stuff, and I'm so overwhelmed, and it's not a whole lot that I can do, but what I can do, I can vote. So I just want to say thank you for, just as the lady said prior, thank you for breaking this stuff down, because it definitely can be so overwhelming and so much that it's you kind of lose it in all, you lose it in all of this. So just thank you.
Thank you, June. People like you are why I do what I do every single day. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you. So thank you so very much.
You are so welcome.
In the final moments of... All right, you too. In the final moments of Brandon Bernard's life before he was executed by lethal injection at a federal penitentiary in Terre Haute, Indiana, that was on December 10th, 2020. Donald Trump picked up the phone to entertain a final plea for mercy on Bernard's behalf. The call was not with Bernard's family or his attorneys, nor was it with representatives from the Justice Department's Pardon Attorney Office, who had recommended just days earlier that Trump spare Bernard's life. Rather, it was a call with a guy named Jamal Fincher, who is a music producer responsible for hits like Ludacris's Pimpin' All Over the World and Nicki Minaj's Anaconda. Jones didn't know Bernard, but he had publicly endorsed Trump for re-election, and that, Bernard's advocates had correctly suspected, gave him the best chance of getting on the phone with Donald Trump. Trump did indeed take the call, but unfortunately for Bernard, it was too late. Donald Trump had earlier spoken with the family of the victims in Bernard's case, a young couple who had been kidnapped and killed, and promised them the execution would move forward. I'm sorry, he told Jones. I just can't stop this execution. Bernard was already in the execution chamber while Trump and Jones were on the phone. Earlier that evening, the Supreme Court had rejected lawyers' petition to delay the execution, and Trump's refusal to intervene sealed his fate. Granted a final phone call, Bernard spoke with the attorneys and investigators who had taken his case and became his friends, telling them repeatedly that he loved them before the line went dead. Shortly after 9 p.m. Eastern Time, he was injected with pentobarbital, a drug that cripples the central nervous system, shutting down the lungs and the heart. Quote, as the drug started taking effect, he looked in our direction just like he wanted someone to reach out and help him, says Chuck Formosa, a defense investigator who had grown close with Bernard after joining his case in 2008, and he attended the execution. It was the most effed up thing I've ever seen, watching them kill my friend. By 9:27 p.m., Bernard was dead. In that moment, he became the 9th of 13 people executed in the final 6 months of the Trump administration. More federal executions than in the previous 10 presidential administrations combined. Did you hear what I just said to y'all? In the final months of Donald Trump's presidency, he executed more people than 10 previous presidents combined, the last 3 of which were African American men. I'm going to take a break, come back, we're going to pick this up. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. This is the last and final day of the Republican National Convention. We're broadcasting live from the Panther Arena. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes live from the Republican National Convention returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. The Republican National Convention is here. Tune in to the award-winning 1017 The Truth all week long as we will have you covered with everything you need to know. Watch or listen to all of your favorite shows as we broadcast and stream live from the heart of the RNC in downtown Milwaukee from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. all this week. Don't miss a moment of any of the action, heavy-hitting interviews, and any of the breaking news by tuning into The Truth all week and streaming us live on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
This is Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers on 1017 The Truth.
So we do have a drug take-back box at Outreach Community Health Centers. So if people have medications at their home that they want to get rid of, they could bring it to our pharmacy and we'll dispose of it for them. Anything that's not being used, anything that's kind of out of date, even antibiotics, any other medications, definitely it's better to safely dispose of it, and definitely don't flush it down the toilet because that puts it back into our drinking water supply. So
why is that a bad thing, Annie? Why do we not want to flush our medication?
Yeah, so it contaminates our drinking water. It contaminates our waterways, so our rivers and lakes don't benefit from all of those medications entering into the water supply. And we don't also enter. We have great drinking water in the city of Milwaukee, but they can only filter out so many of the pharmaceuticals. So as much as we can to reduce the pharmaceutical supply in our drinking water, we'll all be better off.
Come escape to Lake Lawn Resort. Enjoy stunning lakeside views, on-site golf, award-winning spa, and numerous dining options, including 1878 on the lake. Dive into the pools, explore water sports, or relax by the lakeside fire pits. Experience Lake Lawn Resort's newly renovated guest rooms, part of a multi-million-dollar upgrade for ultimate comfort and luxury. Whether it's a romantic getaway, family vacation, or corporate retreat, Lake Lawn Resort has it all. Book your stay at Lake Lawn Resort today and discover the perfect blend of adventure and relaxation.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Welcome to another episode of Analysis, man.
From Buck superstar Giannis.
And then I'm going to Chris at the time. What did coach mean? What do you...
And even Green Bay QB Jordan Love. There's only one call for these conversations.
I've never been in a Lambo, and I have to, right? What is this Lambo league?
Tune in to the Thanalysis Show, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Find it today on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere you get podcasts.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Donald Trump executed 13 people in the final 6 months of his administration. That's more federal executions than the previous 10 presidential administrations combined, and more executions than all 50 states combined. Of the 13, 6 were put to death after Trump lost the election. That is what is so poignant. However you feel about the death penalty, okay? It basically is non-existent in America before, because we have made a very conscious decision that the government and the state should not be in the business of taking life. We just have decided as a society that it's barbaric and it's antiquated, and that is not how we deal with even the most violent of offenders, because at the end of the day they are still human beings, and the state should not have that kind of abject power to be able to take life. Okay? But the fact that he executed that many people, even after he lost the election, that goes against norms, because when you are in your lame duck period, that means that you have lost the election and the new administration is on its way in. So our presidential elections are in November. The new president is inaugurated in January. You don't write any executive orders. You don't appoint any judges. You give respect to the fact the American people spoke. You lost the election. There's a new administration that is coming in. Trump rushed to execute people in that period of time. Unprecedented. More federal executions than the previous 10 administrations combined. Of the 13, 6 were put to death after Trump lost the election in November. His Justice Department accelerating the schedule to ensure that they would be dead before the incoming administration could intercede. Before Trump, there had been only 3 federal executions since 1963. That part right there, just my brain couldn't compute it. There had been only 3 federal executions since 1963. He killed 13 people, the last 3 of which were black, 2 of which were presumed innocent. Trump oversaw 3 executions during a single 4-day stretch. The 2 years before that stretch, Trump had signed perhaps the lone broadly popular major initiative of his presidency, a bipartisan criminal justice reform bill. By 2020, however, his political calculus had changed. He had geared up for another election. Trump and White House sources say the president was telling advisors that carrying out capital punishment would insulate him from criticism, that he was soft on crime, and his Attorney General, Bill Barr, a longtime death penalty advocate, said he had the perfect accomplice in Bill Barr. From Terre Haute, Indiana, January 16, 2021, the Trump administration early on Saturday carried out its 13th federal execution since July, an unprecedented run that concluded just 5 days before the inauguration of President Joe Biden. Trump executed somebody 5 days before Biden was set to take office. 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Do we have, who's on the line? Savannah, is Bob there? Put Bob on. Bob, you're on 101.7 The Truth. Bob, please keep it on the message today.
Yes, I sure will try. You know, did you know, I mean, you just said some stuff that I didn't know. That's really something. That is interesting. Man, that's sad. It's kind of sad. Did you know Vance, his vice president he picked, is married to an Indian woman?
Yes.
And I just wonder, how white Republican women would feel about that. I just wonder how they feel. And
they don't care.
Trump,
not at all.
You know, you don't think so, huh?
No.
Well, you know,
they never get hung up on who white men marry, because white men can do whatever they want. J.D. Vance could have a black wife, and it wouldn't cost him anything politically.
Really?
Only we get caught up in that. Like, we're the only people that we judge somebody's political validity by who they're married to. An example would be, had Barack Obama had a white wife, dude would have been the exact same person, same president, same policy, same success. But if he would have had a white wife, he wouldn't have got elected. Even Mitch McConnell has a Chinese wife. A whole bunch of those ultra-conservative, super far right-wing, reactionary Republicans marry minority women.
And she's brown-skinned. His Indian woman he married is brown-skinned. She's really, you know. And Vance also will prosecute women I mean, he signed a bill or he's trying to advocate women to go out of their city to get an abortion need to be prosecuted.
He also said that women who are in abusive and violent relationships should stay married for the children. He also supports a national abortion ban, which we know will disproportionately impact black women, because black women have a lot of complications during their pregnancies, and they have medical reasons for having those pregnancies terminated. Somebody like J.D. Vance wants those black women to die. So yeah, he's extreme, but he still pales in comparison to Trump. He's more frightening because he's smart, he's Yale educated, and he's 39 years old. J.D. Vance is just getting started. He is the next incarnation of MAGA. He is a version of Trump that is younger, swifter, and way more intelligent. He is a danger as well. But Bob, I'm going to my next call because I think you said all you need to say and you kept it reasonably short and sweet, so I appreciate your call, Bob.
Okay.
Savanna, who else we got? We got somebody else on the line? Lisa, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Good. How are you, Sherwin?
I'm hanging in there.
You know what? You just said it. You just said it. That vice president that Trump picked, you know, you guys need to look out for him. If he becomes president, Trump, you in trouble.
Lisa, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel some kind of way about you giving your sentiments. I'm here at this convention looking at these people's faces. They want to do tremendous damage to us and who we are and the fiber of this country, and you don't vote. That's really problematic for me. Because you've got very strong opinions, and a lot of them make sense, but the fact that you still give a reason why you won't cast a ballot, that is harmful to us, Lisa. It's harmful to us. Just know that it's harmful.
No, it's not harmful.
No, Lisa, trust me, in these days and times, this is not like something cute and something casual. This is for the fate of what this nation is going to look like, for us in particular. So just know that it's harmful. I'm not telling you that you need to change anything about who you are and whatever your reasons are for not voting, but it is harmful.
It's Sharon, no matter what. Look how they're doing it. Look how Trump is stealing the vote.
I know that, and there is a way in which we can push back on that, Lisa, and you are not helping us push back on that. So don't complain about it, because you're complicit.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm not complaining about it. You guys are complaining about it. I'm just watching. You're complaining, not me. I'm watching because
Lisa,
I can't vote.
We don't need.
For the
thank you, Lisa. Thank you for your call, Lisa. We ain't doing spectators no more. If you're just gonna sit here and watch, well then watch and don't call and talk about it. A day before the federal government executed a Texas man for the killing of an Iowa couple when he was 18 years old, celebrity lawyer Alan Dershowitz pleaded with then-President Donald Trump, a former client, to call off the execution. During a December 9th, 2020 call to the White House, remember, Donald Trump lost the election in November. He is in his lame duck session, and he is continuing to execute people at a rate that had not been seen since 1963. During a December 9th, 2020 call to the White House, Dershowitz told Trump Brandon Bernard, a black man, was 40 years old, and he was not the man he was when Todd and Stacey Bagley were killed in 1999, and that he deserved to have his sentence commuted to life in prison. Trump sounded sincere when he said he wished he could spare Bernard's life, but he added apologetically that he had already promised the victim's relatives that Bernard would be put to death. Dershowitz said about that in the 20-minute phone call, quote, "They're on their way. They're on their way," Trump kept saying. Dershowitz recalled. The relatives, Trump explained, were on the road to the prison in Terre Haute, I'm saying it wrong, where federal executions were carried out, and it was, quote, too late to pull them back. Secrecy was a hallmark of the 13 federal executions taking place during the last 6 months of Trump's presidency. Although reporters were allowed to witness them, it was impossible to know at the time what was happening behind the scenes. Fresh details have emerged since those executions, including from Dershowitz, who recently spoke to the Associated Press. The fuller picture reveals that officials cut corners and relied on a pliant Supreme Court to get the executions done quickly, even when some, including Trump himself in Bernard's case, agreed that there might be valid reasons to not proceed with any of them. I can't even conceptualize that in my mind. Trump agreed that these executions shouldn't take place, but he did it anyway. That is just... Other newly available information includes an autopsy report obtained by the Associated Press for Corey Johnson, convicted of drug-related killings. It concluded that during his execution, he suffered pulmonary edema, a painful condition that's similar to drowning. So much fluid rushed up to his trachea, it exited through his mouth during his execution. More federal executions are carried out as much under the same conditions, and it happens far too frequently. Joe Biden hasn't kept a promise. He has not abolished, the death penalty, although his Justice Department has announced a moratorium on federal executions. We're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. This is the last and final day of the Republican National Convention. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention, returns next on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
The Empowerment Small Business Loan Program, we're talking about up to $5 million, which for small business owners, we need that. That's like payroll, that's resources. So can you just let us know what is the program and why is this lending program so important to Old National Bank?
Years ago, our CEO, Jim Ryan, this program is his brainchild. He was working with Roland Shelton, who you know, Denise, out of Evansville, and they identified that African-American business owners, Hispanic business owners, Native American business owners, as well as women business owners had a difficult time in obtaining financing from the traditional credit partners. And so we went out, created a program, launched it last year in 2023. And so far last year, we have helped over 100 successful minority and women-owned businesses with about $25 million in loans. We've already started this year with almost $8 million in approvals, again, geared toward minority business owners and women business owners that normally had difficulties in obtaining traditional credit finance.
Attention, Milwaukee County. When it comes to stroke, every second counts. Remember to be fast. B-E-F-A-S-T.
B, balance. Are you having trouble with coordination or balance? E, eyes. Sudden blurred or double vision. Have you lost sight in one eye or both? F, face drooping. Is your smile lopsided or your face numb or drooping? A, arm weakness. Are you having difficulty reaching for things? Does your arm drift downward when placed in front of you? S, speech difficulty. Is it difficult to speak? Try saying, the sky is blue. Does that come out correctly? T, terrible headache. Are you having pain in your head? Experiencing more than one of these symptoms? Time to call 911.
Remember, recognizing these signs and acting fast can save a life. If you or someone you know experiences these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. This message is brought to you by the Milwaukee County Office of Emergency Management. Stay informed, stay safe.
Over the past 20 years, Wisconsin has seen a huge increase in reported elder abuse cases. Elder abuse is the verbal, physical, emotional, sexual, or financial abuse of a senior citizen. It can also be the intentional or unintentional neglect of an older person. Wisconsin's population of seniors 65 and older is projected to grow significantly in the coming decades. That's why we all share the responsibility to help protect our seniors by recognizing and reporting any signs of elder abuse. If you believe that elder abuse has been inflicted upon yourself or someone you know, please report it. Call the Wisconsin Elder Abuse Hotline toll-free at 1-833-586-0107 or visit reportelderabusewI.org. Respect our elders. Report abuse. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Justice.
This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $120,000 with 100% funding by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Welcome back. Broadcasting live from the last day. Thank God. I want my city back. You know what I miss? I'll be honest with y'all. I miss a lot of things. I miss Wisconsin Avenue. Remember when you could just drive down Wisconsin Avenue, you didn't have the concrete barricades and you didn't have all of the fencing? Oh my goodness. Oh, the good old days. Tonight is the final night. This is when Donald Trump gives his speech. He accepts his party's nomination. I will be there. I want to hear it in person as much as my instincts are telling me to not be in the Fiserv Forum. I am going to be there just to witness those words. It's different when you watch it on television, just like a sporting event. You know, watching the game on TV is one thing. Being there in the action and hearing the crowd and seeing reactions and emotions in real time makes it almost like tangible, like you can feel it. I'm not going to speculate on what may be said, but then there's something else that I notice. I don't just necessarily listen to the words of people. I watch their actions, because people sometimes are much more honest with their body language than with their words. You can edit your words. Your body language sometimes speaks much louder than any word you can edit. Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm watching these people here in our city of Milwaukee, which, here's the good news, a lot of people really like the city. And I have seen native Milwaukeeans being very welcoming, very accommodating, very hospitable to folks that are here from out of town. It's almost like our hospitality rivals that of Southern hospitality, so I'm very, very proud of our folks here. I think the thing with Milwaukeeans, though, we argue with one another. We don't necessarily get into disagreements and beefs with out of town, so that's good. I think we're painting our picture and painting our city in a very favorable light, which is good and it might be good for future business. But there is a confidence, almost an arrogance amongst the Trump supporters here. They are convinced that Trump is going to win. There's something else that kind of is circulating in the atmosphere about this particular convention that is unlike any other convention in history. There is a presidential nominee who just recently survived an assassination attempt. A lot of folks here are evangelical. In fact, that is probably the strongest part of the Trump base. I would say the strongest part of the Democratic coalition, Joe Biden's base, whoever the Democratic nominee is going to be, we're going to talk about that in a second, is African Americans. African American support for Democrats is roughly the same as evangelical support for Donald Trump. And they saw in their eyes a miracle. A man who is indeed ordained by God. He supersedes right from wrong. He supersedes policy. He supersedes morality. He supersedes fidelity to his wife, who has been missing. They say Melania is going to be here tonight. You know who else they say is going to be here tonight? 50 Cent. Don't ask me why, but 50 is supposed to be here. I guess it was just confirmed again last night that 50 Cent is going to be here. I really hope he doesn't come on and perform Many Men at the convention, because I don't want to bob my head. It's not a head bobbing affair. I do not want to be dancing a little two-step in the aisles in a sea of red hats. Please, 50, don't just be there, 50. Don't perform. I'd really rather not do that. They think this man is ordained by God, that God saved Donald Trump. I've heard that. I've heard that theme being repeated. They are so confident that it doesn't even matter what the Democrats do. I have not seen this kind of voter enthusiasm since, I don't even know if this compares to Obama in 2008. Even in 2008, we were nervous up until election night.
How's the excitement?
We didn't start getting excited about the possibility of an Obama presidency. We also thought the Obama presidency would be more than it was when it came to race relations. If you believe we made progress on race relations when Barack Obama was president, I don't personally think that we did. You saw a higher number of officer-involved shootings and killings of African-American men, women, and children. We saw the beginning of the really divisive nativist political rhetoric accusing Barack Obama of either being a Muslim, like that's some kind of a slur, being a Muslim. We got freedom of religion in this country, but apparently being a Muslim is the worst thing you can be. The birtherism, Donald Trump was saying that Barack Obama was not an actual citizen of the United States. I started to see some of that. But we believe, I'm not going to speak for all of y'all, I personally believe that electing an African-American president that actually did good things, that worked hard, that put policy together, that made health care much more affordable, that got the economy back on track, that got the banks lending again, that got the home foreclosure crisis under control, created something like 15 million jobs, doubled, tripled the stock market. I thought that would speak louder. And people could look at him like they look at everybody else, like, oh, wow, if you're really good at what you do, your race doesn't matter anymore. This country almost went in the opposite direction, because you could not have gotten more opposite from Barack Obama than Donald Trump. I think I'm terribly disappointed by that because I want better for this country. I'm clearly not leaving. And everybody says, oh, if so-and-so gets elected or if this happens, I'm leaving the country. No, you're not. You might go on vacation, but even then, you're probably just going to Chicago. No one is leaving. So I got an obligation to make sure this is the best country it possibly can be, not even for me because my life is more than half over, but for anything and everything that comes behind me.
Damn.
That's my obligation. Now, I just don't see it with this incoming administration, but their confidence because they believe their candidate is like above all other human mortals because he survived an assassin's bullet. I wish I could do a better job of explaining just the confidence and the arrogance. And they see me walking around, ladies and gentlemen, and they look right through me. Now, I'm intentional this week wearing a lot of blue to make it abundantly clear that I'm very much a Democrat. And I think that they pick up on the symbolism. Yesterday when I was at the Vice Forum for the official convention duties and the speeches, I was literally the only person wearing blue, walking around feeling as lonely as I could feel in a arena of 15,000 people. They are thoroughly convinced. And so here's what troubles me. The Democrats are in turmoil. Joe Biden is likely not going to be the nominee. There's going to be internal fighting amongst the Democrats. Now, here's the thing. That's fine, but it can't last long. If it lasts too long, then we are forfeiting not just the presidency, we are forfeiting the U.S. Senate, and we are going to elevate Speaker Mike Johnson, and he's going to have even more power as Speaker of the House. So whatever, listen to me when I tell you this, whatever the Donald Trump agenda is, it will get passed. Marjorie Taylor Greens and other people from the MAGA conference are going to create policy. Think of the wildest thing you possibly can, and it will be law in this country. That is what I'm concerned about. It will be real nuclear political winter in this nation, and I don't think most people are ready for it. Most folks you talk to, and God bless them, don't really know much about policy and how it works and the long-lasting implications of it. They just don't because they're not really concerned about that kind of stuff because they're worried about their day-to-day lives. These kinds of policies will change people's day-to-day lives, and the Democrats, at the moment, they don't even really have an answer for it. So hopefully, Joe Biden is, of course, you guys heard, I'm sure, he's got COVID. This one is from Axios.com. Pummeled by a positive COVID test and a rapidly imploding re-election campaign, Joe Biden walked gingerly up the steps of Air Force One and retreated into self-isolation Wednesday night. When the president needs to be out there traveling the country, giving speeches, holding political events, showing that he is fit to hold office, showing that he has mental acuity, showing that he's still a good decision maker, he's retreating back to the basement when we need him most. He's off the campaign trail. When he needs to be on it, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Biden will spend the next few days surveying the political wreckage from his house in Delaware, with his fate as the Democratic nominee more uncertain than at any other point in recent weeks. After a brief pause of acknowledging the shocking violence of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump last Saturday, Democratic pressure on Biden to exit the race has reached a fever pitch. I'm sorry, Al, if you're still on hold. Al, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. The first thing I wanted to say, Dante Johnson came out yesterday and said they don't care about black votes. They don't need black votes for the Republican Party. So I need you to understand that for you black Republicans. I think some of you want to be told and controlled what to do by whites, and it goes all back to approval. Another thing y'all need to understand, if you want any respect from the Republicans, you got to treat them like they are colored. Because one thing about a Republican, especially white Republicans, they don't want to be seen on the same level or worse than the colored. You won't value their white skin. You won't value what they think. You will be 10 toes down, and you will say what's on your mind. And it might even push you to come out like a power child and vote. Remember, when it comes to them Republicans, raised by a bigot, raised by a racist that probably was a cokehead and a drunk. You put them together, you got nothing but a barbaric animal. Then you have a Yale graduate with a Coke 45 mentality that can't get along by nowhere in the United States. So why are you sitting here acting like you can't speak? Treat him like a colored. And you will not value their respect. You won't value their skin color. And it will push you to come out and say what's on your mind. And the only reason they like downtown, because Cavalier Johnson is pushing John Northwest's dream on downtown. And he needs to paint himself white as well. And he needs to remove himself as well. Come on! Have a great day.
Thank you, Al. And on that note, I'm going to take a break. We're going to come back and take some more calls at 833-212-1017. Here we are, the last day of the Republican National Convention. Us Milwaukee folks are very happy to have our city back after today. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back shortly.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention, returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. The Truth Family Fest is back. The award-winning 1017 The Truth is proud to announce our second annual Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 17th at Riverside University High School in Milwaukee. We are bringing the community together for a family festival that will have something for everyone. There will be live music, delicious food, healthcare resources, and a backpack school supply giveaway. The Truth Family Fest is presented by Associated Bank and sponsored by Milwaukee Public Schools, Gruber Law Offices, Erie Insurance, and American Family Insurance.
This is Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers on 1017 The Truth.
There are individuals in our community who certainly need health services, a variety of health services. What if they do not have health insurance? How can you serve that population?
Our community health center allows patients to come to our clinic regardless of their ability to pay, and that's part of our federal funding. You can come to our clinic and be seen based on what we call a poverty level. So anyone 200% or below a poverty level can be seen in our clinic for anywhere from $20 to $40 for that visit. So in other words, if your visit is a $400 visit and you fall on our sliding scale where you pay $20 for your visit, you would not be responsible for the $400. You'd only be responsible for $20 for that visit. Also, our pharmacy prescriptions are very, very affordable as well. Where you would normally pay, let's say for an inhaler, $240 a month for an inhaler, at our facility that would cost you about $4 or $5.
It's very good to know you guys have a sliding scale that makes it very, very affordable.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. Garage doors giving you headaches? Best way I know how to deal with it is to call my friends at Geis. Family owned since 1955, Geis is the trusted authority on garage doors and openers in southeastern Wisconsin. Trust me, I use them too. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to match your exact needs. For fast, reliable garage repair solutions, go to GeisDoors.com or call 262-784-4250. GeisDoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know whether it's a new home or a new car. You've worked hard to achieve your dreams, and we work hard to protect them so you can enjoy the utmost peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be, and trying to take my life away. I put up.
I hope
me.
not. They say 50 Cent confirmed again last night, but you know anything can change. If he is here, I just hope he doesn't perform, because I think that just sends the wrong image. They've been trying to promote this idea that more African Americans are supporting Donald Trump. I don't see it, but I also live in a bubble of very intuitive, very intelligent, critically thinking black folks that know that we have issues and know that we have problems. They may not have the time, the effort to, be an activist every single day to fix our problems, but they can vote, they can read, they can study, and they can talk to their friends and their family and their neighbors about the positive impacts that we need in our community. And one of the ways in which we can achieve that is through sound policy, not narcissism and a rush to execute people. Let's talk to Ashley. Ashley, you're on 101.7 The Truth. Thank you for holding. How are you?
Hi, Sherwin. I'm doing fine. I was just calling to, I guess, just speak on generally this whole voting in the black community. I feel like we miss that we have so much power even outside of just voting. Voting isn't the only way that we can show our power, because I feel like a lot of us are misconstrued with the voting. They pitted us against each other, Democrat and Republican, and I feel like, honestly, it's one bird with two different wings. It's the same thing. But I just wish we would realize the power that we would have.
Not even close,
consumers.
Ashley. Not even remotely close. Now, the other thing about voting, it is the only way in which we show unity. It is the only time in which black folks do something together on the same day in the same direction. There is no unity in our community. There's no unity when it comes to religious affiliations. There's no unity when it comes to people that have a college degree, that own a house. That is one thing that we do, and I love how we bash the one thing that we do together in the same direction.
But the point, what I was going to say, I'm not saying that there is no unity within our community. There is. We just have to find it. The main thing that we can do to make
Why are we still looking for it in 2024?
Wait. Sherwin, please, can I just finish real quick? Voting is definitely a big step for us to do to make a change. But somewhere that we can make an even bigger change than voting, because even when we do the voting thing, they never even speak specifically about what they can do for the black community. Everything that we do has to be bundled up with somebody else or some other demographic, even though there was stuff done in America to black people specifically. There's never anything said to be done for us specifically. But something big that we can do to make a change, demand a change, is to change how we consume, change our consumerism. It seems minute how they did the bus boycott back in the 60s and everything, but that was big. Spending money, our dollar doesn't stay in our community for more than 2 hours, literally. If we would just take back how we spend our money, that would even make a big change. And I feel like that would be something big that we can do as a black community, come on one accord. Clearly right now we can't come on one accord with this politics thing. Everybody's all over the place. People endorsing Donald Trump because he got shot or he's a felon, and people just going along with the Democratic thing because that's what we've been doing. I feel like somewhere that
But Ashley, please stop glossing over why we've been doing it. We've been doing it because it's actually. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate your call. Thank you. We're not going to entertain things that we know are not true. There's a reason why African Americans do pretty much everything we do. Sometimes it's out of ignorance, but sometimes it is out of sheer brilliance. There's a reason why the majority of African Americans started voting for Democrats, especially after 1964. The Republican nominee, a guy named Barry Goldwater in 1964, was opposed to school integration, was opposed to community integration, and was against the 1964 Civil Rights Act. So we then decided that we wanted to move in a different direction. There has been one political party that has actually put policies together that has served to help us. They tell you that they want to improve conditions in the black community. Black entrepreneurship is up. The wealth gap between black and white is as low as it's ever been. Black unemployment is as low as it's ever been. You got a black woman who's the vice president. You've got more black women appointed to the federal judiciary than at any time ever in history. If all presidents were combined, Joe Biden has done more of that. What more do you want? They're going to sit here and say, hey, black people, we're going to make your lives better. No, they can't. But there are things that has been done, and you just got to pay attention to them. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
1017 The Truth and Associated Bank have teamed up for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, we'll be giving away $6,000 worth of free commercial advertising for 3 months to 5 Black businesses. To sign up for your business's chance to win $6,000 of commercial campaign marketing on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure on the truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC.
The Republican National Convention has arrived, the RNC is here, and the award-winning 1017 The Truth will be broadcasting live from the convention, and we will have you covered with everything you need to know. Milwaukee Black Talk 1017 The Truth. The Republican National Convention has arrived, the RNC is here, and the award-winning 1017 The Truth will be broadcasting live from the convention, and we will have you covered with everything you need to know. Milwaukee Black Talk 1017 The Truth.
Truth Nation, it is Denise Thomas.
And Telly Hughes.
From Truth Be Told with DT and Telly. And guess what?
What is that, DT?
Our Truth fans can now watch and stream us live every day, Telly.
Wait a minute, Denise. Let me make sure I got this thing right. Our amazing and incredible Truth fans can go to 1017thetruth.com, click the Watch Live link, and watch me and you do our thing live from YouTube and Twitter every morning?
Yes, Telly, that is exactly right. So now they can watch you almost lose your black card every Friday during our Truth Telling Hit segment.
Come on now. You know I'm never losing my black card. But Truth Nation, you gotta tune into all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows, as you can not only listen live on the app, but you can also stream us live all day, every day by going to 1017thetruth.com and clicking the Watch Live link.
Research shows that high-quality teachers have the greatest impact on student success during the school day. By shaping their students, they are shaping the future. Yet while actors have Oscars, musicians have Grammys, and athletes have gold medals, exemplary educators who prepare every profession are just not recognized enough. The Milken Educator Awards set out to change that by surprising outstanding educators across the nation with $25,000 prizes and providing a platform to celebrate, elevate, and activate the profession.
Erica Stevens!
The awards were created by Lowell Milken of the national nonprofit Milken Family Foundation. The journey to surprising the 3,000th Milken educator is in full swing. Who will be next?
Honey, they chose me.
Celebrate teachers, value teachers, thank teachers.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 1017 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's a marvelous night for a moon dance with
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, broadcasting live from the fourth and final day of the Republican National Convention. Former President Donald Trump is set to take the stage tonight to formally accept his party's nomination for the third time in as many presidential election cycles. I'm going to be in attendance, but I got to figure out exactly when I'm going to enter the Fiserv Forum, because there's going to be a period of time when the president is mobile where everything is locked down. We did have some folks who were trying to enter downtown yesterday between like 12:30 and 1 o'clock. When I say they lock everything down, we're already locked down. This is likely the most secure city in all of the United States just because of the convention being here, but when the president moves, they restrict it even more. You can't go from one location to another. Even the airspace has got heavier restrictions on it, so I got to plan accordingly. The one most annoying thing, at least in the beginning, were the checkpoints. And the checkpoints have run smoother and smoother every single day. So when I say the checkpoint, if you want to enter downtown, you only have 5 options. And at some of those options, the lines were incredibly long. So my first day, I probably just sat motionless for like an hour, which, as you can imagine, is incredibly frustrating because there's all this other stuff going on. I got to figure out where I'm going, where am I going to prepare for my show, what am I going to talk about, all those other things. So first day was a bit of a headache, but it did get better with with time, like most things. Joe Biden will spend the next few days surveying the political wreckage from his house in Delaware, with his fate as the Democratic nominee more uncertain than at any other point since the debate. After a brief pause to acknowledge the shocking violence of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump on Saturday, Democratic pressure on Biden to exit the race has reached a fever pitch. Adding insult to injury, Trump, considered a martyr, will deliver his nomination speech to a raucous and remarkably united Republican National Convention. So there are some Biden faithful that are still in very powerful positions within the upper levels of the Democratic Party and with the DNC. And so they actually want to nominate Biden virtually before the convention takes place in August, because at the convention there's the possibility that delegates may decide they want to put their support behind another candidate, because the polls, ladies and gentlemen, they're not lying. They're not lying. Battleground states can go either way, but if you look at a Democratic bellwether like the state of New York, in which Joe Biden won New York by 23 points, New York is so blue, neither candidate needs to campaign there. Joe Biden is only up 9 points in New York. When you have a state like that sliding, and here's what's crazy about New York, they know Trump better than anybody. They know one of his cases in which he was convicted of the 34 felonies was in Manhattan, where Donald Trump calls home. And now things are starting to slide in Donald Trump's direction in a state that actually convicted him. Joe Biden can't win. And I'm not emotional about it, because I know what we are facing. I know what we're up against. Trumpism 2.0 will be a version of American populism that most people will not recognize. And once you do recognize it, you are not going to like it. Our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. I do want to read some text messages as well. Let's see what we got here. Reginald says, in regards to these security checkpoints, option 1 of 5 is don't be there. Oh, I said that from the beginning, even before the convention started. If you did not have to come downtown, don't. Just found out yesterday that a friend of mine that is a nurse. You know, nurses can't be late. I don't know if you guys know that. And if they are late, it's a major, major infraction. Like, most people have some flexibility when they arrive at work. But because she had another infraction of being late, she got fired. Because she lives like a stone's throw from the hard zone. There's not many residents that live in the actual red zone, like the most secure part of the convention, where you've got to be Secret Service credentialed and a whole bunch of other stuff to even be able to enter those areas. But there are some apartment buildings just outside of the red zone, and certainly in the yellow zone. Well, come to find out that people that live downtown, they were never communicated to about how you enter and leave downtown. They didn't know where the checkpoints were. So she tells me, like, she had no idea. She came out of her apartment. First Street was blocked off. Go around the corner. That's blocked off. This is walled off. There's barricades here, barricades here. She had to go almost like to the south side to loop around downtown to find a checkpoint. And then the checkpoint, she had to sit for an hour. She lost her job. So there have been some certainly some casualties because of this convention. I'm sure there's going to be other stories as well. I mean, all in all, I'm hoping that it's a good benefit for the city, but that also goes back to something I said, I think yesterday, maybe the day before. If we know that Milwaukee is going to generate a certain amount of revenue from a convention, then regular old average Milwaukeeans need to get some kind of financial benefit. They need to get something. They need to get a convention stimulus check or something, because the inconvenience for a lot of folks is insurmountable. All right, what else we got here? Donna says, oh, sorry. She said she wanted to be anonymous. Let me just, I'll paraphrase what she's saying here. Why would you want to be, Donna, nobody knows your last name. I'm just going to read it. Is a president-elect or sitting president required to release their medical records? Are they protected under HIPAA? Isn't it discretionary for their records? So they don't have to, but they usually do. But also, I don't believe the medical records that get released. You know, Donald Trump had a doctor. There's always a White House physician, and he said, oh, Donald Trump is the healthiest president we've ever had, and said, oh, Donald Trump can live to be 215 years old. So sometimes it's just propaganda. Now, the American people do deserve to know of the health of their president, but releasing medical records is something that presidents opt to do, just like releasing their taxes. You guys remember when that was a big deal, when we wanted to see Donald Trump's taxes and he just never released them? Now, they're not obligated by law to release their taxes, but if the American people are going to elect you, they want to know how much money you made, they want to know how much money you were taxed, et cetera, et cetera. So medical records are not, they're not required, but, Americans probably should know the health of their president. What else we got here? Oh, Dion said he's going to vote. Good, Dion, we appreciate that. I'm still going to call you Dion the non-voter. Oh, look, you got a round of applause from the people here at the RNC. But here, for all we know, Dion is going to vote for a Republican.
Damn.
JH says the abortion thing is to preserve, hang on, I just lost it, to preserve the European race in America because it's becoming a minority, nothing to do with the black race. Of course. So why they're talking about immigration so much? Why do you think they want to seal the border? Do you realistically think that more people coming to this country that are less likely to commit crimes than Americans are, that want to work in low-paying jobs, do you really think that they're a serious threat? No, when they have children, that's why they become a threat. When they become citizens and they can vote, then they become a threat. Immigration and immigrants are a vital part of the American economy. In fact, without them in Wisconsin, we would have no dairy industry. Our manufacturing industry in the state of Wisconsin would be gutted if it was not for them. We also have people that are collecting Social Security, which, by the way, that's going to be on the chopping block, too. People are living longer. When Social Security was first created, I think you qualified for Social Security at, 65, if I'm not mistaken? I've already ruled out that I'm going to get it. But I think you qualified for Social Security at 65, or the majority of your benefits at 65. Well, at the time it was created, life expectancy was 67. So people would pay into this system, and they would only collect benefits on average for about 2 years. Well, now life expectancy has gone up past 75, 76. I think for women, we're probably 80 or 81 years, meaning somebody can collect Social Security for 10, 15, sometimes 20, sometimes 30 years longer than was originally intended. In fact, the number of people that we're going to have on Social Security is going to outpace the number of people that we have working in this country and actually paying in. We're somewhere near, for every 3 people that are working, that are 10 people that are receiving Social Security benefits. We got to get workers from somewhere. We need people to pay into this system. If there are people that are literally fighting and risking their lives and their children's lives to come here to work in jobs that we don't want to work in, and they're less likely to commit crimes, I don't see what the problem is. But again, I live in Wisconsin, and I have a job that's secure enough and skill set that's secure enough. I'm not worried about somebody who is coming here that doesn't know the language, doesn't know the culture, doesn't have any kind of American resume taking my job. But no, there's a cultural theme here, and it's very, very evident being at this convention. They don't want others. Now, if others want to join them, absolutely. If you want to be a person of color and you want to be a Latino, Hispanic, or you want to be an immigrant yourself and you want to join into this populist movement, they would love to have you, but they're not going to do anything for you.
Well, here we go.
Let's see what we got here.
Event in RNC.
Reggie says, good morning, Mr. Hughes. May your day go well, and thank you for your contributions to broadcast journalism and your efforts at the RNC. Thank you, Reggie. I do appreciate that. This has been an eye-opening experience. Overwhelming at first, of course, but then as I kind of got my sea legs and got into my groove and I could actually see a little bit more clearly about what is going on here, it is a pageant, it is pomp and circumstance to reduce the negativity that a second Trump term will actually be.
This whole thing is kind of a made-for-TV event.
833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Savanna, who we got on the line? Overtime. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Sherwin
Overtime. You there? I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I wanted to make 2 statements, and then I had a question to ask.
Okay.
Number one, I don't see the state of Wisconsin, city of Milwaukee, voting Trump. I don't see Trump winning this state because you see that mess downtown, that whole police state situation, those checkpoints. There's a reason why he'll lose votes. He won't have my vote just because of that. Neither will Biden. And then number 2, if 50 Cent accompanies Trump to the podium, thinking miniman, I won't be surprised if you hear the Republicans down there chanting every word. Those who know the song, unedited.
His phone to search for information and pictures.
And
unedited. You mean they're going to say the N-word part too?
Don't know yet.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, as we mentioned here,
And then number 3.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
I would like to know.
former president, invisible, he's guided by
And then number 3, I'd like to know your reaction if
this evening. I asked
Trump goes to the stage, he makes one brief statement and drops the mic, and the statement is, come November the 5th, I'm going to make the Biden and Harris administration bow down in the presence of a boss player. And then he drops his mic, and then 2 of America's Most Wanted by Snoop and Tupac comes on. What would be your reaction?
Trump expected to take the stage between 9 and...
I don't think I would react, because that would never happen.
Number 3.
You engage in a lot of daydreaming, don't you, overtime? You spend a lot of overtime daydreaming about stuff that'll never happen. That's a nice act of imagination. That won't happen. Thank you, overtime, for your call and your really unusual picture painting of what's going to happen. Now, I think Hulk Hogan is going to be here. Did you guys see that somewhere? Am I hallucinating like overtime is that Hulk Hogan is going to be here? In fact, I think he's not introducing Trump. What kind of mess would that be? But that just shows you the kind of spectacle that this is here. So we'll see how tonight goes. Something unusual happened to me yesterday, which I've been withholding it, but I think I'm ready to share it. So I have got a particular kind of access here that only one other colleague of mine at Good Karma Brands, and all of our stations, we are 3 stations, we are ESPN Milwaukee, we are WTMJ 620, and we are 1017 The Truth. So myself and Steve Scafidi have unfettered access to every single part of the venues here. Unrestricted, we can go anywhere, we can roam the convention floor, we can go to the Baird Center, we can walk around anywhere with a certain set of credentials that we have. Well, I'm allowed on the floor of the convention. When you see the big crowds of people, if you ever see any of the convention coverage on television, I'm allowed to be right there with those people. So yesterday, during the actual heart of the convention, when all the speeches are going on, I'm walking toward the floor. Now, I had been to the floor before, but it was earlier in the day when they were practicing and doing sound rehearsals for the evening's event. So I was there and actually did a live video so you guys could see, what the inside of the convention center looked like. But it wasn't full of people. It was just full of workers and security and people that were practicing for the evening's events. Well, then I had unfettered access. Nobody said anything to me. But when I tried to get into the convention floor at the Fiserv Forum last night, I was denied. They said, okay, sir, you have to go this way. And they corralled me into this area that's cordoned off specifically for the media. And I'm off to the side. I couldn't really see anything. There's lights, there's television cameras, there's reporters all over the place. I'm like, this is not right. So whatever, I go up to, we have a section that's reserved up in the 200 section. That's where I saw Ron Johnson. So I was like, screw it, I'll just go up top and kind of isolate and just kind of observe everything. Well, after the evening was over, at least my evening was over, I'm walking back to the 3rd Street Market Hall where I parked my vehicle, and I see 2 of my colleagues, right? And they're like, oh, Sherwin, we just came from the floor. I'm like, oh, what do you mean you came from the floor? Somebody apparently because we can trade our passes, those of us that have this unfettered access, we can give it to other colleagues and they get timed access to the convention floor. They were actually on the convention floor, but for some reason I was denied. I should not have been. I've got all of the clearances I need and the Secret Service clearance, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to do the exact same thing. And in the event that I am denied, I'm going to make sure that I get the proper authorities, because they ain't going to deny me tonight. I'm going to be on that floor telling 50 Cent he shouldn't be performing Many Men. I'm going to take a break, come back, and talk about what exactly the Democrats are going to do. And in the event that there is a mix-up at the convention, or if the Democrats do not have an actual nominee at the convention, there are some tricks that are going to get played. And I want to talk about that because Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said publicly and alluded to something that may keep the Democratic nominee off of the ballot in Ohio. So I'm going to take a break, come back, we'll discuss that. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 FM, the last day of the Republican National Convention. I'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention, returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube. How? Every day from 1 to 4, I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. Now that's powerful.
This is Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers on 1017 The Truth.
So we do have a drug take-back box at Outreach Community Health Centers. So if people have medications at their home that they want to get rid of, they could bring it to our pharmacy and we'll dispose of it for them. Anything that's not being used, anything that's kind of out of date, even antibiotics, any other medications, definitely it's better to safely dispose of it, and definitely don't flush it down the toilet because that puts it back into our drinking water supply. So
why is that a bad thing, Annie? Why do we not want to flush our medication?
Yeah, so it contaminates our drinking water. It contaminates our waterways, so our rivers and lakes don't benefit from all of those medications entering into the water supply. And we don't also enter. We have great drinking water in the city of Milwaukee, but they can only filter out so many of the pharmaceuticals. So as much as we can to reduce the pharmaceutical supply in our drinking water, we'll all be better off.
UW Credit Union here, celebrating new branches with ribbon-cutting ceremonies. And not just our 13 Milwaukee area branches. We're also including our mobile app, which is like a branch in your pocket, to check accounts, make transfers, and more on the go. So now, branches are opening 24/7, which is great for our members, but hard on our fingies. Oh, cramp. UW Credit Union, local mobile banking made simple. Federally insured by NCUA.
Come escape to Lake Lawn Resort. Enjoy stunning lakeside views, on-site golf, award-winning spa, and numerous dining options, including 1878 on the lake. Dive into the pools, explore water sports, or relax by the lakeside fire pits. Experience Lake Lawn Resort's newly renovated guest rooms, part of a multi-million-dollar upgrade for ultimate comfort and luxury. Whether it's a romantic getaway, family vacation, or corporate retreat, Lake Lawn Resort has it all. Book your stay at Lake Lawn Resort today and discover the perfect blend of adventure and relaxation.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Day 4 of the Republican National Convention in the city of Milwaukee. Trump is going to give his remarks tonight. I'm going to be in the house. I got to try and figure out when I'm going to make my way toward the Fiserv Forum. It's probably best to just go early and just sit, which guarantees my entry. But y'all, it's so crushingly boring and infuriating, and it's frustrating because the people that are here do not reflect the political sentiment of this city. Milwaukee is easily the most Democratic voting city. I don't know what Dane County is, but Dane County don't matter. Dane County, like Madison, is just like a weird place with a bunch of colleges and universities, and it's just weird, and everybody makes a bunch of money. Madison is not a reflection of, in my opinion, of Wisconsin. I think Milwaukee is a much better reflection of it. But this is the most Democratic voting city, maybe one of the most Democratic voting cities in the country. So the contrast of having this convention here is one that you have to see to actually believe. As I'm sitting through convention activities last night at the Fiserv Forum, and people just erupt into chants of Joe has to go, and random chants of USA, 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 and I'm an American. In fact, I'm probably more American than most people that are here. But here's what is just, it's almost threatening, right? I feel threatened when they start chanting USA, because I'm thinking to myself, exactly what version of the United States of America are you celebrating, and why are you so damn happy? The propaganda, these videos that they show between speakers, it's a whole program. A convention is a program of a lot of entertainment. You got singers and speakers and all this other stuff. So as they are between guest speakers, they'll show these videos, and they're really, really hammering on these 13 American men and women that were killed in the exit from Afghanistan. If y'all could just feel the emotion of the crowd and how much they just hate Joe Biden for the exit of Afghanistan, like they get raucously angry to the point where I'm looking around like, am I even safe to be here? But the way they are piquing people's sentiments and their emotions is really, really dangerous. Another thing that kept running through my mind is I'm in their space at their convention, but they're in my city. How angry they're going to be if Donald Trump loses the election. They are building anger, and almost some of the propaganda in these videos that they show, these little vignettes, are almost like precursors and propaganda to civil war. The arrogance and just how convinced they are that Donald Trump is not only is he going to win, he's going to trounce the Democrats. They're talking a 40-state landslide. They also believe, these evangelicals here, think that he is ordained from God. I assure you he is not. But they're going to be beyond upset. And some of them, as we know, can take things to the extreme in the event that the election is lost. We've already seen an episode of political violence that was aimed against former President Donald Trump. He's got an obligation to take the rhetoric and cool it down a little bit. So we'll see how much of a leader he is, how much of a uniter that he is, because he's just as confident as everybody else. When he entered the arena last night, I did take a picture of it. I think I posted it in the Hughes Views Facebook group. The crowd was electric. And I've been to the Pfizer Forum for a number of different sporting events more times than I can remember. I have never, and it wasn't even full. It's 18,000 capacity. Here's probably 15,000 people here. I think that's a fair assessment. It was louder than when the Bucs were making their playoff run in 2021. That was deafening. It was so loud in the Pfizer Forum during that playoff run, during like certain plays, if Giannis like made a dunk or something, or if there was an alley-oop or something, your ears would ring. That's how loud it got. It was that loud last night when Donald Trump entered the arena. He's got that bandage on his ear that he's wearing like this badge of honor. All the people just went nuts. President Joe Biden might not appear on the November 2024 presidential ballot in Ohio. Ohio law requires that presidential candidates be certified. That is, the state must be notified that the presidential candidates have been officially nominated, and that's 90 days before the general election, in order to get on the ballot. That is the earliest deadline of any state. So if the Democrats are going into their nominating process confused, and if there's not a clear nominee, if they have what is called a brokered convention, there may not be enough time to get whoever the Democrat is on the ballot in Ohio. We already have some information stating that no matter what the Democrats do, they're going to challenge the official certification of the Democratic nominee, and it's likely that no Democrat may appear on the ballot in Ohio. They got a Republican governor, probably have a Republican legislature. J.D. Vance, who is the U.S. Senator from Ohio, he is Donald Trump's vice presidential pick. So when you talk about the shenanigans and the stuff that goes on when it comes to like voter fraud, and they're accusing one side of cheating, et cetera, they also very well may try to keep Joe Biden, or whoever the Democrat is, off of the ballot. You said we got a caller, Savanna? Donna?
Okay. Are you there, Sherwin?
I'm here. How are you?
Okay, right. I didn't know for sure. You deserve a Medal of Honor to be down there listening to that BS. And I want to commend you for the great job you're doing, giving us information. I mean, I was shocked to hear about these 13 executions. My God, that's unbelievable. What I would like to see, though, to be a Democrat is torture. These people, there's no fight in them. This silliness about talking about unite. I don't know. I could be false. I don't know. But I heard that Joe Biden wanted to talk to the wife of one of the people that got shot at that Trump rally. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And she refused to take his call. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. But, I mean, that's not a sign of uniting. Forget about uniting. We got to fight. And I don't know, Democrats seems... The only faction I see in the Democratic Party is... and it's kind of bad for our gender, is the women. I mean, you take like Nancy Pelosi, the way she ripped up that State of the Union speech, and then that lady down in Georgia down there, she said, "Hey, oh no, you're going to take a mug shot just like everybody else." The men are like a bunch of wusses. I mean, look at this Merrick Garland. I mean, my God, you know who would have been suited for that job? Would have been Kamala Harris. I mean, this is unbelievable. And that court system, that's got to be overhauled. This is, you're not whole. I mean, my God, this guy's full of documents. This is our security. I mean, do you want to say pledge allegiance to the Russian flag? I mean, this is, I don't know, Sherwin, but it don't look good. That's all there is to it. I better stop rambling here, but you kind of know where I'm coming from.
I appreciate your call, Don, and I do feel the emotion behind your sentiments, so thank you for calling. All right. The Democratic National Convention that will formally nominate Joe Biden won't open until nearly 2 weeks after Ohio's August 7th deadline. The Republican National Convention will wrap up nearly 3 weeks before the deadline, so Donald Trump will not have a problem getting on the ballot in the state of Ohio. The 90-day deadline has often caused trouble since its adoption in 2010. Only in 2016 did both parties' conventions take place before the Ohio cutoff date. Both conventions took place after the deadline in 2012 and 2020, and legislators had to extend the deadline both times. This was the first time that only one convention comes too late, but Republicans could be impacted in the future. There are ways to resolve this problem, as 2 other states with early deadlines have already done. The state of Washington, their officials said they will accept a provisional certification of Biden's nomination before the convention, and Alabama's legislature shortened its deadline so that Biden could qualify to be on the ballot there for sure. This is something I never even knew about. I didn't even know this existed, that you had to be officially and formally certified by your party in order to appear on Ohio's ballot, and there's got to be a 90-day window. That is why they are rushing to nominate Joe Biden even ahead of the convention. But a lot of Democrats and Democratic donors and Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are basically calling for Biden to step down. So that is why I'm saying the Democrats have got to get this figured out very, very quickly. Now, here's the thing. When your other party, the opposite party, is having their convention, Democrats don't really get a lot of attention anyway because this is obviously Trump week. So if they're going to have these disagreements about what Joe Biden is going to do, his political future, the future of the party, do we elevate Kamala Harris, do we go into a brokered convention, now is the time to do it, but they can't waste time. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. And you know me, I'm a partisan. And I make no bones about it. In fact, some of my colleagues don't like me, don't speak to me because of how partisan I am, but that's good. That tells me who I need to stay away from anyway. We need to defeat Donald Trump for more reasons than I can possibly communicate, and I've been communicating those reasons for many, many years. I don't care who the nominee is. I have faith in the Democratic candidates that could potentially assume the White House and do a wonderful job of bringing this country back together and putting policies together that makes our lives easier. But they gotta figure this thing out right now. Joe Biden getting COVID at this time is all of the symbolism that we need. He's down for the count. He can't be out campaigning. He can't be engaging voters. He cannot be out showing his strength against somebody like Donald Trump. He can't be. He's down for the count. How unusual and weird the timing is that Biden gets COVID, but I think now that he is seated with COVID, he cannot travel around the country. He cannot promote his agenda. This is where the Democrats really need to say, you know what, we need somebody that can actually beat Donald Trump. There's like 4 or 5 Democratic governors that are polling not only better than Joe Biden. These are folks that aren't even in the race for president. They're all polling better than Joe Biden, and some of them are like 5 points ahead of Donald Trump. So if we need to consider one of those folks, okay, but just get them ready. ready. Get them out there. Let's start talking about them. Let's interview them. Let's see what we can make of this whole mess. But now is the time to have these disagreements and these discussions about who the Democratic nominee is going to be, because let's be abundantly clear, Joe Biden can't win. He can't. And now he's understanding that he can't win. Apparently yesterday in a closed session conversation, he did ask the question, like, well, can Kamala actually win? Because now he's starting to see that he can't win either against Donald Trump. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. It's the final day of the Republican National Convention. We've been broadcasting all of our shows from Media Row in the Panther Arena. I'm going to take a break, come back, and take a telephone call at 833-212-1017. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back shortly.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention, returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
What distinguishes Old National Bank from other lenders in helping people buy their first home and furthering their small businesses?
One thing that really makes us stand out is our grants. We have 2 really big grants right now, specifically for first-time home buyers buying in Milwaukee County. The first one is for $15,000. They have to be buying within Milwaukee County and reach certain income limits. And then the second one is for $20,000, and that is through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indiana. We're headquartered in Indiana, as you know, Denise. So that is a second grant, and that is really the highest, most robust grant program throughout the entire southeastern Wisconsin area. So it's it's up to $35,000 essentially that a person could be receiving for their first home. If you are in a position that you're looking to buy your first home throughout Milwaukee County, please give me a call. Please contact me. I'm more than happy to help everybody that I can.
And what's your number, Anna?
Sure.
How can they reach you?
414-978-0283.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Tellez Hughes with his truth.
How many times have we been told perception is reality? Look, I'm not here to dispute that, but as true as that statement is, it couldn't be further from the truth when it comes to social media. The way we perceive something or somebody on social media is typically nowhere near how things are in their real lives. Unfortunately, identifying the difference between people's online life versus their real lives gets compromised because people want it to be real, and that's okay. What's not okay is people trying to live up to these fictitious lives that's being presented and getting thousands of likes. You often see posts of people on vacation with the caption, "Living my best life," or "So-and-so doesn't owe me anything." Again, nothing wrong with that, but I wish people would view social media like they do SportsCenter. On those type of sports shows, they only show the highlights of the game. Highlights. On social media, you're only seeing the highlights of people's lives because you probably won't get many likes on a post that shows you stressing over having more bills than money and trying to figure it out. The point is, don't get caught up trying to live up to something that isn't even real. Influencers are going to influence, and some have made a hefty living doing so. But happiness isn't a one-size-fit-all contraption. Create your own happiness. Plan out how you're going to obtain it, and then protect it the same way you would guard your most prized possession.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth Be Told with DT and Tellez weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Our Beyond the Mic Happy Hour Mixer series has been a hit this summer. And our next one is going to be at the Mo Bay Cafe. That is going to be on July 26th. It's on a Friday from 4 until 7 p.m. Mo Bay Cafe is located at 1022 South 1st Street in Milwaukee. There's going to be delicious Caribbean-inspired cuisine, cocktails, great conversations, and we're going to give away stays at the Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells. And for the first time, Dr. Ken is going to be broadcasting live from our Beyond the Mic Happy Hour Mixer series. So make sure you mark your calendars for Friday, July 26th from 4 until 7 p.m. at the Mo Bay Cafe. Y'all better come to this one because we're going to have a lot to talk about. I'm going to tell y'all all the stuff about the convention that I can't say on the air, so make sure you come on out to our next Beyond the Mic on Friday, July 26th. The 1017 The Truth Street Team, sponsored by the UW Credit Union, is coming to an event near you. Saturday is going to be a full day of fun with The Truth. We kick off the day with our Walk Against Violence starting at 10 a.m. at Victory Over Violence Park. Then we want you to join us from noon until 8 p.m. as we will be at the annual Garfield Days Festival at 502 West Garfield. That's a family-friendly festival that will have exceptional music from local artists, great food, wonderful activities for the whole family. The 1017 The Truth Street Team is sponsored by the UW Credit Union. They are here for every you. Right now, let's talk to Eddie. Eddie, you're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Sharon. How are you doing today?
I'm hanging in there, buddy. I'm glad this is the last day because I want my damn city back.
Yeah, I got to give you credit, Sharon, that, you're a straight up top-notch guy. You in the battlefield down there with a bunch of Republicans. I can imagine how many walking past and you calling you the N-word. And as a result of that, well, you know what I'm saying, and what I mean by that is this here. You said that they wouldn't let you in on the floor, and you had a pass and pass security and this, that, and other. Apparently, someone's listening to you and don't like what you're saying. You're exposing a lot of things. You're challenging. You're not holding back on your questions or anything like that. And and again, if Trump is the leader, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. If he feels a certain way about people of color, I'm quite sure they feel the same way. So, when you try to go on the floor again this evening, I won't be surprised if you get the same results. I don't know if you can resolve it.
No, that isn't going to happen. So the person it was a Secret Service guy, I think he may, this is what I'm hoping now. I'm hoping that he may have been confused by my specific credentials, because it looks similar to credentials that allow people to this corralled media area. I don't know if he recognized my designated floor access, but I assure you, I will be on the floor this evening. I guarantee. Now, if it happens again, and actually, I think I might do. I think I'm going to go live. I'm going to record it live so people can see in real time just the rat race that it is, and this maze, and these throngs of people walking around in circles, and all the different media. Like it is an actual literal circus. So I think I may go live. So you guys that are following me on Facebook, make sure you stay tuned. So I appreciate your call, Eddie. Have a good one. The other thing I'll say is there's a vibrato of confidence of the people that believe that Donald Trump is going to win. And as they're walking around my city, most of these folks are from out of town. It's weird because 90% of the people that I come in contact with are not from here. And so the arrogance and the confidence that they have in their candidate, like I have that same arrogance and confidence because they are in my town. This is my city. I'm on these airwaves. They are casual tourists. Some will come back, most probably will not. So they have a level of confidence, but I have even more because they're in my city, spending $2,000 a night on hotel rooms that usually cost $150. They're eating expensive food and paying these real high taxes, money that's going to go into our state budget, money that's going to come back to the city of Milwaukee. So they can be confident, but I can be confident too because I'm in that wallet. Let's talk to the town. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
That's really interesting.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
Like the other man said, the past caller said, I got to give you some props because you in there, you up in there. I give credit where credit's due, even though you're doing your job. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna tell you, side story before I get started. A certain person is working there for a certain telecommunications company. He was down there working, right? And they had breakfast out there. And a certain network was tripping over the breakfast. Wouldn't even let bro get none of the breakfast and nothing like that. So, I mean, if that little petty stuff goes on, I imagine what's really going on in the bowels of that place. Back to what I'm going to really say. This, man, that's tough, man, for the Democrats. And you know what I'm saying? I'm going to vote for Joe Biden anyway. He can't vote for Trump. And like I said before, I told you a while back, it's crazy because one side is taking it way more serious and is way more together than the other side. That's just the fact of the matter, you know, and it's really messed up. And I think it's because a part of it is the older leadership of the DNC. They got to let these kids in because these kids have the energy and the fervor that they can match. You know, and they want different ideas. Obviously, by the polling, the public want different ideas. They want younger people. They want fresh blood. The Republicans, they don't have to worry about that because their candidate is already baked in the cake. It's like Bronny James going to the NBA. They already know this is going to happen. On the Democratic side, feel like in the shows, if he don't run, go with Kamala Harris.
Well, she's going to be the only option. I want folks to know that it's not going to be a free-for-all. It's going to have to be her because she's the only one that has access to the $250 million they have in campaign cash. So if it's not Kamala Harris, any other Democrat is starting with basically nothing.
Yeah, I think it should be her too, and I think that's better for black folks too. Because
that's the thing. Why would we pass the vice president? It is literally her. She was selected to be next in line, so passing her up, I would take that as a very, very high level of disrespect. But the town, I appreciate you, man. I got to take a break. Thank you for your call, man. All right. The town and I actually had a good conversation. We usually get into it. I don't know if stop Savanna. Even though Savanna ain't here, she's still very much here. I don't know about this whole people want younger candidates because Donald Trump is outperforming Joe Biden with younger voters. I'm not really sure what it is. One day I think it's, we do want fresh faces and new people, but we don't want somebody too young that doesn't have the ability to relate to older voters. We want someone that we know, someone that we understand, someone that when we look at them, we can see some part of us. So here's the thing with Joe Biden, and he's got a long record. Some of it is distinguished, some of it is embarrassing. But I look at it like this. I'm going to vote for a Democrat because I believe in the policies, and I am here doing what I'm doing and living the best life I can because of policies that were signed into law by Democrats. I ain't got to overthink it. But if Joe Biden was good enough for Barack Obama, cool with me. They did all the vetting of Joe Biden. They looked at all the terrible things in his record and his 1994 crime bill stuff, and they probably found things about Joe Biden, who he is as a human being, that was worth him being with Barack Obama. So Obama already vetted him, and I trust Barack Obama. In fact, people trust Barack Obama so much that they would be happy if his wife ran, because then we get another Obama back in the White House. But to what the town was saying about, old leadership at the DNC. So Jamie Harrison, who is the chairman of the Democratic National Committee, who we've talked to a number of times, dude is 48 years old. He's Generation X, so that's about as young as you probably can have somebody in that kind of leadership. And I know he's torn in a million different directions as well. So I'm going to use a sports reference, and I'm going to take a break. And I don't really use sports references that much, but I think this one makes sense. What we have right now are two teams that are getting ready for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is November 5th, okay? The election, consider that the Super Bowl. The Republicans, they are fired up. They're ready to go. They're motivated. Their fan base is motivated. They know they're going to win. They've got a quarterback. They've got an offensive line. They got a solid defense. They can put points on the board. They can do everything they need to do, and they are convinced that they are going to win. Now, the Democrats also have, if I look at policy-wise, they got a strong offense too. They got a good defense as well, right? They've got a wonderful playbook. They're fired up, except the fans of the Democrats are kind of not really sure how excited and how fired up they can be because the Democrats don't really have a coach. Now, we got a coach. He's got COVID. And the coach didn't really do very, very well in his last debate against the other coach, right? But the Republicans, they're in lockstep. They're united. They are ready. They are confident. They're almost arrogant with it. Democrats also have a real decent bench, a bunch of really good players, but our coach is 81 and has COVID, and people say that he may not have a lot of mental acuity. The Democrats just need a coach to lead this team to victory on November 5th. On that note, I'm going to take my final break. We're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. The last day of the Republican National Convention, broadcasting from the Panther Arena. Tomorrow I'll be back at home in the studio in a controlled environment, and that is how I like to broadcast. So stay tuned. I'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention, returns next on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
It's that time of the year, Truth Nation, for our Truth Walk Against Violence. Violence is a problem which impacts all of us, but together we can make a difference. This is why I need you to join me and the Truth team on Saturday, July 20th from 8:30 a.m. to noon for our second annual Walk Against Violence. Food will be provided by Cousin Subs. Join our Walk Against Violence Saturday, July 20th. Visit 1017thetruth.com to sign up today. Together, we can bring an end to violence. The Truth Walk Against Violence is sponsored by Cousin Subs. Better bread, better subs, Cousin Subs.
This is Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers on 101.7 The Truth.
There are individuals in our community who certainly need health services, a variety of health services. What if they do not have health insurance? How can you serve that population?
Our community health center allows patients to come to our clinic regardless of their ability to pay, and that's part of our federal funding. You can come to our clinic and be seen based on what we call a poverty level. So anyone 200% or below a poverty level can be seen in our clinic for anywhere from $20 to $40 for that visit. So in other words, if your visit is a $400 visit and you fall on our sliding scale where you pay $20 for your visit, you would not be responsible for the $400. You'd only be responsible for $20 for that visit. Also, our pharmacy prescriptions are very, very affordable as well. Where you would normally pay, let's say for an inhaler, $240 a month for an inhaler, at our facility that would cost you about $4 or $5.
It's very good to know you guys have a sliding scale that makes it very, very affordable.
On Diversity and Excellence powered by Erie Insurance, I am so excited to talk about the different ways that Erie Insurance can help with our community growth, can provide job opportunities from Erie Insurance Corporate, or with our local agency force. I'm really excited about the education of generational wealth in our Black and Brown communities and how we are a part of the communities here locally. There's so much more we can be a part of. Listen to me, Fred Johnson, on Diversity and Excellence, powered by Erie Insurance.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Brewers Sunday Fun Day Bundle is your new way to brunch this summer. Get tickets, food, beverages, and parking for up to 15 people, starting at $62. Get yours at brewers.com/funday.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
The award-winning 101.7 The Truth wants to ignite positive change and bring awareness to the senseless violence in our community. That's why we're hosting our second annual Truth Walk Against Violence, led by Tori Lowe, Saturday, July 20th, starting at 10 a.m. at Victory Over Violence Park, and then walking down MLK Drive to our studios at the 3rd Street Market Hall. Please join us in the fight to stop violence by going to 1017thetruth.com to sign up for our Walk Against Violence Saturday, July 20th at 10 a.m. Lunch will be provided while supplies last. The Truth Walk Against Violence is sponsored by Cousin Subs. The Republican National Convention has arrived and is almost over. And the award-winning 1017 The Truth has you covered with everything you need to know. Keep tuning in today and tomorrow, just today, as we broadcast and stream all of our shows live from the heart of the RNC in downtown Milwaukee from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. Also, we have a special Decision Wisconsin broadcast from 6 until 9 p.m. on Thursday. That's with Dr. Ken Harris, Denise Thomas, and Tellez Hughes. Then at 9 o'clock, we'll broadcast former President Donald Trump's Republican nomination acceptance speech live on The Truth. Can somebody verify that on my behalf before I get off the air in the next 5 minutes? Is Trump speaking at 9 o'clock? Because if that's the case, I need to be in the building of the Fiserv Forum by like 6:30. I gotta go home. Do I change? I got my little blue. You know, I'm wearing a lot of blue this week to make it abundantly clear. I ain't wearing nothing red. I even had some socks that had some red on them. I ain't even wear them socks this week. I probably should go home for a little bit, take a little downtime, do a little self-care, boy, get a little nap, get refreshed, okay? Then probably head back down on the security checkpoints. In the afternoons and the evenings, they get a little more crowded because you got a lot of the delegates that come in specifically for the evening sessions. And I know they all going to be here to hear Trump's speech, so I'm going to have to time this. But can somebody confirm and text it to me in the next couple of minutes? What'd you say, Savanna? Before, wait a sec, you said between 5:45 and what time? 10:30? Oh, you know what? They're never going to give the specific time of when the president is going to speak because that's a security issue. Damn. All right. Well, I know we're broadcasting it live at 9 o'clock, or at least we're advertising we're broadcasting the speech at 9 o'clock. I don't know if it's going to be live, or I don't know what this is going to be. Who is this with this entourage? Look at this. Which Trump is? Hey, Carrie. Which one is that? Eric? Don? Don Jr.? He had an entourage of reporters just following him, so he just walked past.
Sherwin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I can talk this whole time. Hey,
Oh, so you are on the air?
Yeah.
How you gonna figure that out with 3 minutes left on the last broadcast? Well, welcome back, Savanna. We've missed hearing you.
Yes, it's good to be back. Thanks to Zach. He always knows what to do.
All right. Well, this has been it's been a monumental week. It's been very eventful. It is not over. The crescendo, the orgasm, if you will be when Donald Trump accepts his speech. I want you guys to be cued into certain things, certain populist themes. Let's see how he talks about immigration. Let's see if he talks about mass deportations. Also, y'all, see if he mentions anything about African Americans and the black community. Because haven't they been promoting that, more blacks, and especially black men, have been joining the Republican Party and now supporting Trump? Does Trump give a nod to that in that speech? I'm very, very curious. Does he mention any other community? Does he talk about diversity at all? Does he talk about women's reproductive health care? What does he say about Joe Biden? Is Donald Trump going to mention Kamala Harris's name? Because this is one thing that I know. I know that they don't want to have to change their entire strategy because right now some of their vibrato and their confidence is coming from the fact that they have a campaign that they know can beat Joe Biden. They saw that debate performance just like everybody else. So they are basing all of their political calculus on how they can get their electoral votes based on Joe Biden being the nominee. They're running against Joe Biden's record. They're running against the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. They're running against Joe Biden's inflation. What if Joe Biden is not the nominee? Even though they have a lot of confidence, the Republicans do, that they're going to be successful on November 5th, they are planning on playing against a Democratic Party that has Joe Biden as the coach. But if they switch the coach out at the last minute, they're going to have to readjust their entire strategy, and that's going to screw things up for them. So if we want to take away some of that confidence that they have when they're walking around here in my city with their heads held high, wearing their red MAGA hats, if we change who the nominee is to someone who is younger, who can go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, because I'm going to tell you what, a second debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump very well could be a disaster. It very well could be. Because Biden can't afford another bad debate performance. If he debates Trump again, I'm assuming that even though Biden is probably not going to be the nominee, let's say something happens where they just stick with Joe Biden. If Joe Biden has a second bad debate performance, that election will be over. But imagine a debate performance of Kamala Harris, who is a prosecutor, that would go head-to-head, toe-to-toe with Donald Trump and check him in real time when he spouts out those lies. That's the problem with Biden. He could not fire back every single time that Donald Trump told a mistruth or use some, terms that we know are totally false. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Hoping that the Democrats can get their lives together. Now is the time for them to have a level of disorganization, because they wouldn't be getting a lot of attention right now anyway, because this is the Republican Party's week. It is their time to shine, and they are most certainly doing so. So by the time I get back to the studio tomorrow, we very well may know some new information, because it's just a matter of time before Biden decides he's going to hang it up, because the polls are very, very clear that he is not going to be able to be the Democratic nominee if the Democrats want to hang on to any semblance of power in the federal government. Savanna, how much time I got left? My laptop just died and I ain't got my clock no more. All right. That being said, thank you guys so much for listening. I could not have done this week without you guys supporting me and having my back. And I'm going to do my darndest to get on that convention floor last night. I will not be denied. And so I think I'm going to go live as well so you guys can see what I see as I am approaching the convention floor where Donald Trump gives his acceptance speech. Thank you guys for listening. And this is just a temporary sign-off for me. I'll talk to y'all later. Right now, get ready for Jammin' with Juice.
The Republican National Convention is here. Tune in to the award-winning 1017 The Truth all week long, as we will have you covered with everything you need to know. Watch or listen to all of your favorite shows as we broadcast